Yo, people of the Rift, how are we doing today? Hope we're well. Got a coaching session today. I got a buddy from India, actually. It'd be pretty interesting. Bronze Jax player. So let's call him and get into it. Hey, man.
Oh, yo, how are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good, good.
Good to
Yeah,
hear.
what's up?
What's your name, by the way? Would you like me to call you?
Yeah, my name's Chirag. You can just call me by
Chirag.
that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. My name's Sam. Feel free to call me that.
Yep, sure. Yeah.
Let's get into this for you.
Yeah. hmm
So why don't we start with going over again, kind of give me your like league background, your kind of like gaming history, and then kind of what your goals are with like playing league right now.
Yeah, so like I mostly used to be a console gamer until I like transitioned to PC, like maybe like a year ago, and I mostly like play like Valorant and stuff like that. But like, I started playing League maybe like I want to say like 8 to 9 months ago, like properly. Like I played it before, but like I wasn't too interested in it. And then yeah, I kind of narrowed it down to like top lane. Um, I'm still figuring. I like top lane and jungle. Jungle's like my secondary, right?
Okay.
And then I'm still figuring out my champo, but I really like Jax a lot.
Okay.
He's something I feel like pretty comfortable with. But then my like second and third pick is something that I'm still kind of working on. I can't really play any like range top laners. Like I've tried, but then like they just don't sit pretty well with me. Kled is also another character that I like, but I feel like it's pretty hard to, like like once you get ahead on Kled, then it's pretty easy. But like as soon as you fall behind, I feel like it's pretty difficult. And also like CSing with him was pretty difficult. But yeah, other than that, like goals I would say for the game, probably like right now would probably to be like hit like diamond or like emerald is what I was thinking, right?
Okay.
Like around that range. But like yeah, apart from that, like nothing like too serious. Like I still want to have like fun in the game and stuff like that. But nothing to a point where like it's like too serious. Like I was thinking like diamond emerald is like a good like balance for that is what I was thinking.
Yeah, for sure. So a couple things you touched on that I wanted to just go back over is I think one, it's awesome that you've narrowed it down to top and that you're really honing in on Jax. And I'm not sure if you're looking at my screen, but I am sharing it here on your
Uh-huh.
OPGG. And
Yeah.
the main thing I see that I really like is that we have the majority of our games are just on Jax. I think the more you can do that, the easier your learning journey will be. It's like this is awesome to see. And what I want to reiterate there is that especially when we're learning League, the best thing we can do is have as small as of a champion pool as possible. It's fine to have jungle as your secondary and play it when you get filled there. That's fine. But I want most of your focus and most of your learning to be emphasized on just Jax and just top lane. If you want to
Okay.
have one other champion in that pool as well, like if you really are enjoying Kled and you want to keep getting occasional Kled games in, that's completely fine. But do
Okay.
like focus, hone in on like, okay, Jax is my guy. I'm just gonna send it on Jax for now and do that. And say like 40 more games of Jax from now, you're like, you know what, I'm kind of getting tired of Jax. Then
Mhm.
just do the opposite and do like a 2-to-1 ratio of like Kled games to Jax games. Focus
Okay.
your not necessarily it has to be Kled, but just hypothetically saying whatever your secondary champion is, do it like 2-to-1. So most of your games are going to be on that champion you're learning, but you'll still have that
Mhm.
one game to keep your Jax mechanics and kind of stuff there.
Yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah,
Mhm.
but the only time I don't pick Jax is like into like a Malphite or like something where I feel like Jax would be really, or if it's a band, right?
Yep.
So, but like the only time I don't pick Jax is into like some of these matchups that I really don't like. Like one of those matchups is like Mordekaiser. I always struggle with that. And
Hmm.
then another one is Malphite. I mean, I feel like Malphite's like pretty iffy. Like if I get ahead on Malphite, then it feels like the easiest lane. But then as soon as like I fall behind, I feel like it's so difficult to play because then I feel like I have no damage throughout the entire game at all. So
It
yeah,
can definitely
that's
be
the part.
tough, but I would say try not to shy away from those, honestly. Like the games where Jax feels like uncomfortable and awkward, those are
Mhm,
valuable learning experiences. And it sucks
mhm,
to lose those games or to like feel like like feel useless in the games, but I think like
mhm.
getting that experience and pushing yourself in those games will translate into the games that are easier for Jax.
Okay.
It'll make you play better. And also it's like those are definitely doable matchups. So it's
Mhm.
definitely probably something more mental or like some other stuff that's going on that we'll try to help you out with too. But I would say
Yeah,
like
yeah.
try not to shy away from those. It'll be good learning experience. But
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah.
but again, overall, it's like I like what I'm seeing here. Just keep if you're enjoying Jax, I really heavily recommend just keep plugging away on him and keep getting most of your games in on him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because Jax just feels the most fun because I feel like laning phase wise, right? Like he's pretty easy to play because of his E, right? You can just always, time your trades. But then one thing I definitely noticed, like I was just reviewing one of the games, it's just like I will get ahead on him or like I like get like kills and stuff like that, right? But then where I tend to fall off is like the CS department. Like I always either fall off like mid game, like super hard in the CS, and I feel like the goal lead is like just lost there. I can't do anything with it, like in the mid game, and then but of course, I feel like about 6 to 7 times out of 10 is when I win my lane. But then there are those times where I don't win my lane. But then on characters like Jax, it feels very like difficult to come back. But then uh, I do feel like then I start building a little differently. Like I start building like maybe a little bit more tanky, so I can like be there like a front line for the team. Is I don't know if I'm getting that right, but then that's what I usually do. Is what I've noticed for
Yeah,
me.
so if we look at your build real quick, I think we're jumping the gun a little bit, but we'll just cover it quickly. Is like I don't mind like if you're doing Sundered into Sterex, like that's a very good frontline team fighting build. I don't mind that at all. Bork's definitely more sideline heavy, so is Hullbreaker. I would say probably shy away from Bork. You don't really see many Jax players building Bork these days. Never build Wit's End. It's a terrible item. It just does nothing
Oh,
these
okay.
days. It's really quite poor. If you really need MR, there's other ways you can go. Um,
Mhm.
but I would really just shy away from Wit's End. It's not very useful.
Okay.
And it seems like most of your games are going lethal tempo. Is that kind of like where you are? Do you have a thought process between grasp and lethal tempo?
Yeah, so the thing between lethal tempo and grasp is so in my mind, lethal tempo is what I go for heavy like melee matchups, right? And then grasp is usually like probably like into like a range matchup or like a matchup that I like absolutely don't like Yorick for example. Like I mean it's like a 50-50 with me for Yorick.
Hmm.
So and I know that with Yorick, like as soon as he gets us out, like longer trades are pretty difficult on him. So I tend to take like grasp, thinking I go for shorter trades. Like that's what I focus on.
Yeah,
But then I find the Aatrox matchups pretty easy, so I just take lethal tempo and I just kind of just run it down
yeah, for
on.
sure. I think as long as
Yeah,
you
so
have
that's
some
just my.
intention behind it, like you'll get more sophisticated with that. It's no big deal. You can't really go too wrong between grasp and lethal tempo. They're both very strong in him. I'd say
Mhm.
overall, it's like what you're kind of touching on is like if you don't feel super comfortable in the lane matchup, grasp is always just going to shore that up. It's just going to make your laning that much stronger. It's going to
Yeah.
make it's like it's a very strong like 1v1 laning rune. Obviously lethal
Mhm.
tempo is as well, but you can't go wrong with either. The only thing I'm seeing
Yeah.
that you're consistently doing that you need to change is you need to be whenever you're running precision, so whenever you're running lethal tempo, you need to be
Mhm.
running presence of mind.
Ah, okay. Uh-huh.
And especially if you're running lethal tempo, go haste. Because
Okay.
with your passive and with lethal tempo, you're not lacking for attack speed. So
Okay.
the value on this rune is really diminished. And haste will
Mhm.
like you could even go bloodline. It's a pretty weak rune these days. I still kind of like it. I don't think it's terrible. Like I think you could go either of these. But higher level
Okay.
Jaxes are going haste every time.
Okay.
Eh,
What I tend to do is like I've been also experimenting with the sorcery as my secondary tree and running mana flow band and transcendence. I think it was,
Yeah,
right?
that's definitely viable too. You definitely see some
Yeah.
Jaxes doing that. I even
Mhm.
saw some Jaxes doing Mana Flow Band Scorch, just to like extra little early laning oomph. Like so they'll be going Grasp with Mana Flow and Scorch, and that just makes your early trading very like annoying and potent. But
Yeah.
Transcendence is completely fine there too. Like I think that's
Okay.
because the main
Okay.
thing really from sorcery that you're getting is the mana. The mana flow band is
Mhm.
very useful. But
Yeah.
never be going triumph. There's a we'll cover a couple times in your games here that you run out of
Mhm.
mana just because you're going triumph, and that gets you into
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
awkward
Uh-huh.
situations. And
Yeah.
also,
Uh,
oh, go ahead.
mhm. No, no, no. I just wanted to like touch up on one more thing. Like for this game, like I went Bork because like I've like been watching a lot of YouTube videos and I know Bork is like really good into tanks. And Mundo's just one of those matchups where like I know as soon as he gets like Warmogs, he's just like so difficult to deal with. So I just like tend to go tanks, and then like the one thing that I kind of face a problem with is like there'll be like a Fed Caitlyn or like a Fed Arya on the team, and I'll just not know what to build against that character. Because like for me, I feel like if you have to go like anti crit, it's like Randuin's or something like that, right? And
Definitely.
then I don't feel like Randuin's is good on Jax just for Caitlyn. But then I'm in this sort of spot where I'm like, okay, I'll be in the middle of an item, but then this Kate would be like 10-2 or something like that, right? So do I immediately start building towards my Randuin so that I can stay alive for longer? Like there's like certain things like there where I'm just unsure what to
Yeah,
build. So
I
I
would
just start
say
to like
if you're in the middle of an item, just finish the item out because you're gonna delay your spike. Like most of the value of an item comes from when you complete it. So you want to just complete the item and then build towards something else. And I would also
okay.
say it's definitely important to like have intentionality with your itemization and be focused on that, but don't put the cart before the horse. It's like most of the time the reason you're struggling in these fights probably is not to do with your itemization but how you're approaching the fight, and how like
Okay.
against the Caitlyn, for instance, right? If we're eating properly and stunning her properly and like comboing correctly, it's like it won't really matter what you're building at that point because she's just going to be dead and she's not going to be able to hit you through Counter-Strike. So
Okay.
it's like it's stuff like that, or even similar with the Ari. It's like if we're just not getting hit by charm and then stunning her, it's
Yeah.
like it doesn't really matter what we're building and at that point.
Mhm.
So it's like I'd
Mhm.
say that's more of what we're going to focus on. And in fact, I want to get in the game, but one last thing I do want to touch on is we were saying that I think having a goal of Emerald or Diamond, that's an awesome goal and 100%
Mhm.
doable. You can definitely do it. The only thing
Yeah.
I would keep in mind is that if we've only been playing Elite for about 8 months,
Mhm.
that could be like a 1-2 year long journey. It's very
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely doable. Just want like to manage expectations there, where it's like that could take some time, but it's 100% something you can do. And the
Yeah.
quickest way to make that easier and get there quicker is to just hone in on 1-2 champions, hone in on
Yeah.
just one role. So as long as you maintain this kind of pattern that we've got going on, where we're only really playing top, we're playing jungle when we get filled, and outside of that,
Mhm.
we're mostly focused on one champion. You're gonna climb
Mhm.
quickly. You'll get results.
Okay.
That's the quickest
Mhm.
way to develop learning.
Okay. And the thing was, it was like initially when I got placed like flat or something like that. I remember, and then after that, it was just a straight downhill like journey from that. So then that's when I was like, okay, maybe I need a little bit of help on all of this.
Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
man. So one, first of all, like, thanks for reaching out. Definitely,
Mhm.
appreciate that. I'm excited to work with you here. But new accounts going into ranked, so normal MMR and ranked MMR are separate, and they put, for whatever reason, like the median they put ranked accounts into is gold. So what might have happened is you got placed in, like, 'cause a brand new fresh account will go into gold and ranked, and then you might have
Okay.
won that first game and it put you up, and then it
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
starts, then it's like, fuck, like I'm not actually
Yeah.
supposed to be here. That's a
Yeah.
painful drop. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
So oh, I want to get my pen. What kind of, like, when we're coming into lane,
Mhm.
what's kind of your thought process here? Like right now in this moment, like, are we always sitting in this bush? Like, kind of what's our thought process? Just like walk me through our early game like planning.
Yeah, so I know I can win level one against Yone, right? So because if I have my E, so the thing is, I usually tend to sit in this bush because they usually, if they walk out of the tri bush, I usually have a good trade before they get into the lane, and so that's like my first sort of thought process here. And the second thing is, I know either way with my E, I can get prio in lane first.
Okay.
So I just want to sit here for that one particular trade. Um, yeah, and that's about it. I didn't, and then other than that, I know that Kane usually starts what do you say, Raptors for his clear, but then yeah, he wasn't there, so I was just like, okay, so then either he starts red buff or so I was just making sure that that area was okay, whether Yone was coming in or not, and then when the minions come in, I just just go there and try to get prio in the lane first.
Definitely. So I would say, like, I don't mind sitting in this bush up here waiting for that.
Mhm.
The only thing is,
Mhm.
don't do it at the expense of like being on the wave as it's crashing. It's actually quite important in top lane. Like as the waves and on its initial crash, like right here, it's very important that we're here for it because we want to get some autos down like quickly. Like you said, like against Yone for sure, we can always just wrestle Prio back from him with our E. So it's not a huge deal, but it's definitely important because we want to get control of the lane. I think especially for you and on Jax, like getting our level 1, our level 2, getting our level 2 spike quickly and like getting good trades off that will be a consistent like kind of game plan we can work with.
Yeah, okay.
But like you said, like I love the intention there. Like we're just thinking like we have an idea of what we want to be doing on our level 1. We're looking for a good trade. We're paying attention to where the jungler's starting and what their path is. We have an understanding of what our champion interactions are in the early levels. Those are all good things, man.
Yeah.
But like right now, it's like I would just like throw one auto attack down and then maybe another one down. Just the main thing is like we want to get the creep health advantage here, meaning so it's going to guarantee that even if Yone comes up and hits the wave, we're already ahead in creep HP, so we're gonna have push advantage. And also importantly on Jax is getting our passive stacked up early can be a huge difference between how well our trades go.
Okay.
So like that's why I don't mind like, you know, just like keeping our passive stack here. It's kind of weird. He must have just been a HIFK or something.
Yeah.
Like right here, it's like you already recognize like right, we're stronger than Yone on the early levels, but what that means is you can be a complete psychopath. Like you do not have to respect him at all right now. Jax's power curve on the early levels is a little strange because his level 1's actually quite strong, but then he's not really. He kind of dips a little bit till he hits level 3, and then you're kind of just hanging out. And then your real main spike is when we're hitting level 9 with Trinity Force.
Yeah,
like that's your first like okay, I can really start taking over the game. But
yeah,
the main thing is like level 1, you're quite strong, and then the level 2, 3 is matchup dependent. Against Yone, we're honestly we're quite confident always. But what I was trying to allude to here is that like when he's walking up like this, you should just be walking at him. Right. And then if he starts to do anything, we just instantly, even if he's just within Counter-Strike range, just instantly proc Counter-Strike, start autoing him.
Okay. Yeah. Like, the thing was, I was just scared of the minion wave that came because I know like early game minions do a lot more damage than like you expect. And I know I'm fighting him in his minion wave, and unless I'm like very confident that I'm gonna Counter-Strike and I'm gonna get that minion damage off onto him, because that like it has some like reflect or something like that, right?
Yep.
The Counter Strike. But other than that, if I'm not confident enough for that, then I don't usually like step up for it. So I usually just fight for level 2.
So on Jax, it's pivotal. You are confident on a level 1 because you are just stronger than him, and you know like you're because like 100%. The more damage you dodge with your Counter Strike, it increases the damage dealt. And that's also included off like the minion stacking and Yone damage. So if you just walk up, auto him, that'll take minion aggro. Then you initiate Counter-Strike. You won't take any damage from the wave, and he can't damage you back. And then all you do is let the Counter-Strike hit, you auto attack him, and then you walk back.
Okay.
And then even like say we did that, right? So we walked up, you auto attack him, we initiate Counter-Strike, you follow him, you auto attack him with the stun once. Then you're still going to have minion aggro here, and you're going to lose your Counter-Strike. All you do is walk into the bush to drop aggro.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's a beautiful level 1 trade that he can do literally nothing about. And so that's like whenever, especially an auto attack based champion like Yone like this, say it's an Irelia, say like it's a Riven or something like that. Anybody you know that like level 1 with Counter-Strike, there's no way they can trade back onto me. Always go ballistic for this level 1 trade. There's no reason not to because you just have complete control here. There's nothing Yone can do. His Q will get dodged. His auto attacks get dodged. His creeps are just going to increase the damage you deal to him.
Yeah.
It's started off right away on level 1. Like go psycho on him. There's no reason not to. But again, remember the trade. It's just all you need to do is like let the Counter-Strike stun, auto him once, walk into bush, drop aggro, and then just continue from there. It's like constantly like right like way too much respect on all of this, right? And if you see Yone like with his Q3 here and you think he's going to E onto you, and especially once you see him do the E animation, I mean, when he's walking forward like this, and when you see this though, start your counter strike. Right? Like he should lose flash because he's queuing forward here. Like if you started counter strike right now, he would likely lose his flash, or the trade would be so insane that like it just game over for him anyways. Because one, counter strike would block the damage on this Q3, and then two, he's on top of you. So like there's no way that's ever just bad. And then if we're paying enough attention to our XP here, we use our counter strike to last hit a creep. That gives us level 2. So this trade, realistically, him queuing forward here should be the end of his game. Do you kind of see that? We'll get it again, right? Like if we're just prepped, like if he's queuing, because like we just identified, there's no way on level 1 that he ever is beating you. The main inhibitor of you dealing damage to him is him spacing you out. So if he's willing to dash forward onto you, that means it's game over.
Yeah, I get it. Okay. Mm-hmm.
And just a Yone specific thing is like, if he's queuing onto you ever, we should just be prepping. Like you should be prepared to counter strike to dodge this damage and then to punish him for it.
Okay. My major thing was I remember like watching this Alois video where he's like, always get level 2 first, and then if you hit level 2 first, you're guaranteed to like win the trade. So my goal is like get level 2, jump on him, then soak up all the minion aggro with my E, and then win through that way. That's the entire like game plan I had going into it. But I'll definitely keep in mind the level 1 pressure.
Totally. Yeah, like so that's something just like in League in general is like that's beautiful to have that game plan, and I love that you do, but you have to adapt to what's happening. And I promise you, if this was Alois Jax right now and he queued forward, he's ripping him apart. He's taking advantage of that mistake, right? It's definitely playing for our level up timers and getting a trade on that is 100% great intention and will take you very far. But don't do that at the cost of other opportunities, right? And this is one of those times where it's just like, this is a blatant mistake. This is a complete blunder on Yone's part to queue forward here. When you have E up, we got to take advantage of it.
Okay. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind.
And Jax's level 1 like, with his E is a PowerPoint, like always. So there's very few champions where you're not stronger than them with your E on level 1. So just you can take advantage of that too to set up your level 2 trade to make that level 2 trade even better, right? Because think about it, like how do we get level 2? And how do we get level 2 first? It's controlling the wave properly. It's just. Do you know like the specific level up, like the creep you level up off of?
So I think level 2 was the from the second wave, the first melee minion gives you level 2, right?
Yep.
And then it was, I think, from the 4th wave you get level 3, I believe, 4th or 5th wave. I'm not too sure about level 3 because I just play for level 2 and I really just focus on level 2.
So level 3 is not that hard either. Level 3 is the 3rd wave. I believe the 2nd minion or the 3rd minion, 3rd melee.
Okay. And I know the wave that comes in at 6 minutes gives you level 6.
So the 5:30 cannon wave.
Yeah, 5:30. Yep. And then
but that's if we've missed. That's only if we've reset properly and we haven't missed any XP. So it's not always 5:30 exactly, but the 5:30 cannon wave in general is kind of where we're hitting level 6. That's also very important.
Yeah.
Level 2, level 3, and level 6 are the most important ones because that's every time we get a new ability.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, 3rd melee, 2nd wave. Or second,
okay, 3rd melee, 2nd.
Yeah, I believe. But so it's like we can use like our strong level 1 trading to get control of the lane, to get like control of the wave, to set up to guarantee that we're going to be hitting level 2 first, especially in a matchup like this. So don't think like, okay, I'm going to sit back and do nothing and be a passenger until I hit level 2. You want to take control. We want to be in like have initiative like right away.
Okay.
And you see that now. Like this is just there's no reason to not. Like if he's going to do this, there's no reason to not punish him for it.
Yeah.
So we'll go forward from here. But I do like we hit level 2 right away and we jump on him. I'd say the only thing is, and we still hit the E, so it's fine. But you might want to E before we jump.
Okay.
Just to make it a little bit like there's no reason not to, and it'll just make it so we have that E2 timing a little bit quicker, right?
Okay.
Also, how do you feel about turning, like you are currently playing quick cast with indicators, I believe, or are you pressing Q and then clicking?
No. As soon as I let go of Q, it
Okay.
like jumps to him.
I would really recommend, if you can play around with it and get used to it, to just play with quick cast. Turn off quick cast with indicators. It just adds a little, it just messes with your flow, and as you get better and as you get more comfortable, that stuff matters. Like that timing matters. I think I really recommend turning quick cast with indicators off, especially on a champion like Jax. You don't really, you can learn your Q range. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
So it's like you don't need to know your ranges that much. And if you really do, how I personally do it is I have Shift Q set to normal cast. So if I press Shift Q, I'll see the range.
Okay.
But I really recommend turn quick cast with indicators off. I think it makes flow a little bit better. But ultimately, like the intention here is good, right? We hit level 2, we know we can take this trade. Okay, so why, right? Why are we scared here? Why don't we continue fighting?
The thing is, I knew the tower. I mean, if he was going towards the tower, that was also one more thing. And then another thing was, I just saw the minion aggro just coming in, so I was just like, okay, I'll just back off from the trade, drop the minion aggro, wait for my E to come up again, and then fight him again. Was the game plan? I'm pretty sure.
Q auto kills him here, though, right? He is 95 HP. And even so, all we have to do here is just continue to follow him, auto him, and he's either going to flash away or he's just going to die, right? And so it's just like auto him, and if he doesn't flash away, then just Q him again. It's like, right, we have 6 stacks of lethal tempo and 8 stacks for our passive. So even though he is D-Blade, your attack speed is way higher than his right now.
Yeah.
And you have that level 2, like we did the groundwork, we did the hard part where we got level 2 first. You just got to take advantage of it by killing him here. This is a completely free kill, So even if he walks into the bush, just we're ready to drop a ward to continue autoing him. And if you auto him again and he panics flash, we just have Q to jump on him.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a missed opportunity for sure. You certainly should kill him right here. I agree. If right here, he's queuing towards his tower, we just let him go. We don't need to tower dive him here, but if he does what he does here, there's no reason you don't kill him.
Okay.
It's definitely just a missed opportunity.
Okay, I get it. Yeah.
And even here, you can still just Q auto. It's it's a little strange, but that's fine. And here, like, does this look like a scenario we've seen before?
Yeah.
100% should be already have Counter-Strike up. We should just be jumping on him. And even if we're just playing to get level 3 here, as soon as we get it, we should be EQ auto W, right?
Yeah.
Because we're still in Q range. This is just, we should be killing him again. There's no reason not to. Or blowing his flash at least. Like, there's no reason not to.
Okay.
Especially because, like, we have that level advantage. The trade, there's no way it's going to go poorly.
So, like, playing more aggressive is what it is. Like, when we know we have the advantage, right? Like,
exactly.
Okay.
Because it's just like, it's very unlikely it'll go poorly for you. The only thing we have to be worried about is where their jungler is. That's my main concern. Is we might have wanted to get a ward out earlier, but ultimately it's like, there's been like 4 opportunities here where we could have killed him.
Like my entire thing was like my jungler's pathing top side. I know that. And then Kane usually starts red side. I mean, like hit on his red buff. So I know the timer for like jungle to get the scuttle is about like 320 is when scuttle spawns. So like you're supposed, like they usually are scuttle at 320 if they clear right?
Yes.
So my thing was he's moving from red down to blue side. So I don't really need a ward because like he's already pathing down. Like I don't see why he would come up to top lane.
Yeah, we don't know, right? We actually don't know. We see all of his topside camps up, and we had that Raptors ward. So if he started Raptors, we would have seen it, and if he started red to Raptors or Krugs like this, we would have seen it. But regardless, we're not actually positive. It's good to have intention, and like I think it's fine that you're thinking about it, so it's not a big deal. And also, Jax is one of those champions where like keeping your ward for like ward hopping is not like you can do that. You can get out of a bunch of sticky situations with that. So it's like it's not the end of the world. That's just a min-max thing. where
Mm-hmm.
it would have been ideal. But ultimately, it's like, yeah, you're saying we can be more aggressive in this matchup. We have a lot more room to get shit done and a lot more room to punish this Yone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And like here, just we should be jumping on him. Just E, Q, auto W. There's no reason not to. No reason to let him walk up. Ultimately, you get here, but... And see, this is a scenario, if we had started E before we jumped, we would have been able to stun him out of tower range and get more like work done.
Mm-hmm.
And right now, it's like we just saw him use W. We still have a level advantage. There's no reason he can walk up right now. So I would walk up auto W, and if he tries to flash away, we Q onto him. Or even just Q onto him, like Q auto W.
I think Q auto W kills him.
Yeah, right? And it's like he doesn't... We just saw him use his W. We know he doesn't have shield. Like, there's no reason to give him this much respect.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
This whole early lane is like characterized by you giving him way too much respect. And giving him... Like, he should have died so many times by now.
Yeah.
And if he eats forward here, it's like, what are we doing? When we see him do this, what are we thinking?
You just counter strike. So the main thing that I usually do is I don't use my counter strike here. I wait for him to go back to his like the spawn point, I guess, like the E spawn point, and then I counter strike from there is the logic. But I don't know if that's correct or not.
I think it's fine, but there's no reason to not counter strike first, because he's going to Q onto you. But if you counter strike first, it blocks that damage, and he can. He could snap back, yeah, but like if he's not like instantly respecting you on that timing, and you just if he Q3's onto you and he doesn't instantly snap back, and you just stun him auto W, he dies.
Okay.
You know, and even if like you can still do the same thing where it's if he Q3's onto you and you start counter strike and then you just walk over here, it's still gonna be good.
Yeah.
So. I think here you can just flash follow, right?
Okay.
If we're just like, if we have the presence of mind to do it, you can just flash follow here. Because flash auto W kills, or even just flash W kills, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's also just a kill. And now we see we get kind of punished for this whole thing because it's like, it took us so long to actually kill him that we end up dying.
Mm-hmm.
Or we had so many opportunities where we could have just killed him and not died to Kane here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then the wave's in such a bad spot.
Or it's like, yeah, we're forced to TP, and now it just becomes awkward. Or Kane actually fucks it up for his buddy.
Yeah.
That's actually so tragic.
Like first buys, I usually don't like Sheen. I usually go for like double longsword and like maybe boots or like a refill. But like in this matchup, I usually thought like, okay, getting that initial burst damage was pretty good on Yone because he usually just instantly E's after that, right? So yeah, that was the
Yeah, that's some Jax specifics I'm not super keen on, but I it's my understanding Sheen early is never bad. Like the earlier you get Sheen, the better, because like the damage it'll have a lot of value. You can't go wrong with it just because you have so many ways to proc Sheen. It won't go wrong with it at all. And having Sheen for your 6 spike is really nice. Because like I watched another one where you know the trade where it's like you just auto 2 creeps, you prep your ults, you Q onto them, auto W.
Yeah.
And with Sheen, that's just even more potent. So I think an early Sheen is never bad. If you can, the earlier you get it too, it's never gonna be bad.
Okay.
So it's fine to prioritize it early. It's definitely not bad. And here it's honestly the same shit, bro. It's like I think right now just Q auto W, and if he wants to fight you, just E him. It's like.
Yeah. The logic here was I knew the wave was pushing into me, so I wanted to freeze it like right below the bush, like where I'm standing. So I'm like, okay, let it push there, and from there I wanted to be a little bit more aggro after his Q3, because I don't know why I'm just like so scared of his Q3 because I hate like the knock and the stun, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I just like let it time out, and then I know I have like an opportunity to like jump on him.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But again, it's like if we're just mentally prepped for like when we see him being aggro like this, you know he's going to Q3 onto you. Every single time this Yone's had Q3, he's doing it forward. If we're just prepared to counter strike it, he can't do any damage to you. Any damage at all. It'll just be the W damage. That is it.
Okay.
And then if you just stun him out of it, auto W, like the trade will be good for you.
Okay, I got it.
And here it's like you have a level up, and if you just go onto him, it's like right now, right? He's gonna walk up and Q this. That's just what every Yone is going to do, especially this Yone. He's not thinking at all. So that's exactly, he's going to walk up and Q this. If you just don't let him, how is he going to get Q3?
True.
And the other thing I'm thinking here is like we have a level advantage. We haven't clicked on him, so I actually don't know what his items are. But it's like I don't think he has Sheen, and your trading is just going to be better than his because your he has lethal tempo too, but your passive is going to out trade him. And also, if he can't hit you with Counter Strike, it's like in this sort of matchup, you can just be a complete psycho, and there's very little Yone can really do about it. And to your point with the wave, it's like the wave's already in a good spot for you. As long as you don't like AoE nuke the wave, it's still going to come towards you.
Okay.
So it's fine to just take advantage of this now. Jump on him right now. Like you don't have to go for a crazy trade, but like if you just Q auto W and then E, or just E Q auto W, it's very, very little Yone can do about this.
Okay.
Just too much respect again. But like the thing about Jax that's weird is like you're not pissed about like I mean our CS is kind of not great here, but Jax scales very, very well, so it's not a huge deal. Let's take a look at this. I think something you can do. The wave's a little.
Like I feel like CSing under tower is just one of those things where like if I have a early longsword, it's really easy. But if I don't, I sometimes just feel like either I get all of them or either I get none of them. It's like one of those things, right?
Do you know how early creeps take tower damage to CS them?
Yeah, so I understand the melee. It's 2 tower shots and then you can hit it. Like an auto will kill them.
Yep.
But then the casters, I feel like it's something like very off because like if it takes a tower shot, it usually takes like an auto and a half to like kill them, right? Which it doesn't really make any sense. So
what you want to do on the casters is you need to auto them once, then 1 tower shot, and then 1 more auto. That'll do it. Or with Jax, what you can do is just you can take 1 tower shot and W. But just as a rule of thumb on any champion, you can auto caster once and then let them take a tower shot, then auto them again, and that'll do it fine.
Okay.
Or you can let them take a little bit of creep damage, like if your wave's there, but that's slightly more sophisticated. But for the most part, spot on. 2 tower shots, 1 auto, 1 auto, 1 tower shot, 1 auto. Or even auto Q sometimes too.
Yeah.
But what I was thinking here, what's a play you can do on Jax a lot? Because like I think this guy just bases after this. I don't really know what he does. He does threaten you here, like with the wave, but it's just because he has Q3 up, because he's a fucking creep. Again, like you could E here with all the creep aggro. Your E would do a ton of damage.
Yeah. I get it. Yeah. I see that now. Yeah.
But what I'm trying to show you about the wave here is with your E as well. What you can do is you can hold this wave really nicely.
Okay.
It's like it's a little awkward because the Yone's sitting here, but imagine Yone's not sitting here. The things we want to look at is like how far away is my incoming wave, my reinforcing wave? How far away is this? And if it's like if it's pretty close, you can just E it and pull the wave up to this bush, and like walk in and out of the bush to juggle the aggro, so you're not taking a ton of damage. And then you could freeze the wave right here.
Okay.
So, do you have any thought process behind like slow pushing here?
Yeah, so I wanted to, I think, do a 3-wave crash into him. So my main thing was I wanted to get a reset off. So I wanted to push the wave in, possibly get a trade on like quote unquote my turn, right? And then like I wanted to get a trade in first and then reset and then come back and then catch the next wave is what the entire goal was. So I wanted to slow push the entire wave. So yeah.
Okay,
I mean,
so I think you might be confusing a couple things here. So a 3-wave crash is actually referencing the first 3 waves. But what you're talking about here is stacking a wave into a reset, which is a massive top lane fundamental and very good that like you had the intention. So I love that. Another reason, can you think of another reason why you want to slow push here?
Yeah, so you would have minion advantage, and it'll also be easier for you to crash the wave when it gets to like his like happy spot where he wants to freeze it, right? So
or outside something more simple outside of wave management, as much as like more relative to Yone.
Oh, so that like it waits for him to like come to lane so that you can like get a trade onto him.
Not necessarily. So specifically what I'm referencing here is that, so we're pretty sure he just based, right? 'Cause we saw him crash this wave and then he just disappears. So we're pretty sure he's out of lane, that he based. So you have two options really. If you just saw your laner base and you know he's gone, we can either hard shove this right away to get a reset to match his tempo, or we slow push this, right? We have nothing to really base for, so we can slow push this fine. For the reason you were talking about, where now we can stack a wave into a reset very cleanly. But two is, if you slow push here, that's going to allow his wave to damage your wave the most. And what I mean specifically is that's going to cause him to lose the most amount of minions. Slow pushing in this instance is the best way to punish him for leaving lane. Because that's going to create that golden XP advantage, because he's going to be out of lane. Like, see, as we watch what you do here, like he's going to lose this creep, right? Just because we're not like, because if you fast push this, then like his creep wave is obviously dead, and not your creep wave isn't taking damage. But since we're slow pushing this, his creep wave has time to hit your wave, and that's allowing your creeps to die, meaning he's losing gold and experience that we're in lane getting. So it's a byproduct of what you're already thinking about, but I just want you to see how that's punishing him like right away.
Okay.
And that's another value of like, if he leaves lane and we slow push like this, this is the best way to punish him instantly. And like, do you know about like the how we want to be basing on an incoming cannon wave?
Yeah. So I know if you take a really bad trade, you can base on a cannon wave, because a cannon minion takes like 6 or 7 tower shots, which is like more than enough. Like, even if you miss a cannon, you get majority of the wave and the XP when you're walking back to lane.
Exactly.
Exactly.
So like, for instance, say we like we're looking at, I'm pretty sure this incoming one, because that's a cannon. Regardless, like say we knew like this wave just crashed. Say if we like pan down our camera here to look at the wave that's coming out of our base. If that's a cannon wave and you hard shove right here, that's still a very good reset timing. You don't necessarily need to stack a wave to get a clean reset. Because we hard shove this wave, then this incoming wave's a cannon wave. That means that we can base and not miss anything. Do you see how that connects?
Oh, okay. I get it. Yeah.
And then when we're trying to quickly shove a wave, we just want to make sure we're walking up in front of our wave to take aggro so we can get max value out of our E. And then we're just trying to E the whole wave, obviously.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But ultimately, man, I really like the intention here that we have. That the main thing that I really like is that we're even just thinking about our wave. That we're thinking about that stuff. That's huge. In top lane, and that's massive. Like your wave management is a critical fundamental for your top lane experience. So the fact that we're even thinking about it, the fact that we're thinking like, I want to stack a wave here to get a clean reset, that's awesome. And like you were saying too, if we have a big stacked wave here, he can't freeze it. Also,
yeah,
it's very hard for Yone to freeze a wave into you because you can always just fight him off of it.
Yeah.
So if we know we're setting up a wave to reset here, it's fine to do really heavy trades. Because our goal is to get the wave in, right? Let me do this a little better. Get the crash the wave. We want to get a clean crash that's completely under tower. But if we know that we're going to guarantee that, which is like we have a massive level advantage, we have a big stacked wave happening, we know that's going to happen. It's fine to heavy trade because we know we're going to reset. And he's stuck in lane, like playing the waves. He has to like catch this wave and then control the bounce out. But then we're going to reset and come back with an item advantage. So if we can set that up, like when we come back with an item advantage, that he's at like 60% HP or 50% HP, that makes it so we're so lethal on that return.
Yeah, okay.
So here it's just like, I think we should just be doing like auto QW. Even if it's not like an amazing trade, it's just like, it's going to make it easy when we come back. But we just want to get the wave in. We get the wave in. We take our reset. So I would say in top lane especially, Getting early boots is very important.
Okay.
So here I would say go like longsword boots or something. Or even like
Okay.
we know it's Kha'Zix. It's fine to do like boots cloth armor. Since it's a
Okay.
double 80 like topside like that, like you're getting a ton of value out of getting the quick plated steel caps.
Okay. From what I've heard, like, especially like, I was watching, I forgot which YouTube video it was. They were like, because Triforce is so expensive, they're like, avoid getting boots because it delays that 300 gold. Apparently, is like super important for your power spike. So, unless like I really, really need boots, I usually hold off on it. But like, I'm not too sure how valid that is.
So
I just
I'd say
heard
that's
it.
not terrible advice coming to tier 2 boots. Tier 3 boots, that is terrible. I mean tier 1 boots, that is not. I think you might be misunderstanding that advice or misconstruing it. The 300 gold
Uh-huh.
isn't going to get in the way of getting to Trinity Force that quickly. It really won't matter. And
Okay. Uh-huh.
especially the value tier 1 boots are going to give you early on is massive.
Mhm.
Because think
Okay.
about like top lane is a very long lane, right? And
Yeah.
if the movement speed's really important in terms of like enabling you to get your damage down.
Okay.
So definitely, I would say in this situation, always be getting tier 1 boots and a longsword.
Okay.
And again, with League, it's like there is no like true like one size fits all like really clean rule that will always apply to every single game. In a game, or it's not Kha'Zix, but it's Kane. But like it's double 80 like this, so it's likely going to be Kane and Yone hitting you. Getting to tier 2 boots like this is going to be pretty valuable, especially because like getting to your Trinity spike's massive, but excuse me, if you have tier 2 boots, especially like plated steel caps, there's no way Yone can ever do damage to you, like ever. So it doesn't even matter what your offensive capabilities are because like he's never dealing damage to you. You're gonna have enough damage in your kit to kill him.
Okay.
We know
I think
about
in this game.
the plated steel caps passive, right?
Oh, I'm unaware of the
Okay,
passive.
so
I just know it gives you like 45 armor or something like
yep.
that.
So it has a passive, I think called plate or something, but 12% of basic attack damage is reduced. And for
Oh, okay.
Yone that also counts for his Q.
Oh, so for Jax, it's like insane to get plated steel caps
Exactly,
because your
right?
knees blocking him, and then okay.
Yeah, so he had like so any champion that all of their damage is coming from auto attacks and their abilities also enable their auto attacks. So Yasuo, Yone, Ezreal, Irelia, just for examples,
Mhm.
it's like plated steel caps or Riven as well. Plated steel caps have massive value because you're cutting so much of their damage down. Not to
Yeah.
mention you're getting early armor, and not to mention like that early movement speed really does matter. If you have tier 2
Yeah.
boots and they don't have boots, you can walk all over them.
Okay. And also the other thing that I had, I was kind of confused. I remember in this game was I wanted to actually go Merc Treads because I know Yone has a knockup, Red Kane has a knockup, Silas has that insane combo where he just keeps you stunned, right?
Mhm.
And then Lux Q is just I feel like it's very long. So it's just like I understand that like there's a lot of physical damage, but like the CC there, I know the thing I just hate a lot is like getting CC'd as Jax because I feel like I'll have my entire my entire abilities up, and I'll just be sitting there for like 4 or 5 seconds and just get bursted down, right? So I feel like I lean towards Merc Treads a lot, but then like I don't really know how to play around that CC.
Totally.
Uh,
So something that's important actually is knockup duration doesn't get reduced by Merc Treads.
oh, okay.
So that's something important. It's just like stun. So like Lux snare, for instance, would get reduced, but you
Mhm.
have to think about like the value of that and what Jax wants as a champion. Um,
Okay.
because Jax is an insanely strong side laner, right? That means
Mhm.
we can split push like throughout the entirety of the game. And who's likely to be marking you in sides, right? It's gonna be Yone or it's gonna be Silas.
Mhm.
So it's one of the two. And if we're setting up our lane assignments so we're consistently into Yone, then Tabby's just
Mhm.
gonna give us so much value.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's one thing. And I would say most of the time, if it's just one true CC like that, where it's really just it's gonna be because Silas E is actually a knockup. It's not a stun. It's a knockup as well. So
Oh, okay.
Red Kane, Yone, and Silas, it's like we're not reducing the duration of that. I want to double check that. I'm not trolling you on that. It's very specific, but tenacity doesn't reduce knockup times, and I know the list is specific, but I am confident. Like, so tenacity does not reduce the knockup duration, so that you can't change that.
Like now that I see the replay, I see how many times I could have killed him.
Yes.
Where I should have been so ahead in the lane, but like I'm not, right? And then like
Exactly.
it like bothers me so much now that I could have actually done so much more. Yeah.
And League is an insanely snowbally game. It's an insanely snowbally game, and your early lane is pivotal how well you play it. That's why like you hear Alois always talk about the first 4 waves or like the early game, like that stuff is so important because it sets up the rest of the game. And say you had gotten that early kill right away and crashed that wave and you didn't die to the Kayn and you didn't have to waste TP to come back. It's like that sets up a completely different game. It's a completely alternate universe, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I get it. Yeah.
So
I think this one he steps back in and like he greeds for more, and then that's how we kill him again.
yeah, he should just never E. It doesn't actually make sense. He should just if he has ult up, he can just he can Q3 and probably walk out fine because you can never get to him. Even if he's terrified, he can Q3 ult, and there's no way he should die here. This guy's just he's not really the brightest. But hey, that's all right. I gotta search somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you didn't greed for plates or anything here.
Yeah. Like the main thing was the main thing I know is if I crash the wave and if I'm healthy enough, I have like blitz on the top, so I know he had TP up again. So I was just like, it's fine. Like I would rather just crash the wave, get a reset, be stronger, and then come back.
Exactly, it's your tempo. What you're playing for there is your tempo. Okay. And you never want to like your tempo is so important in this game, just for the reasons we were talking about, because that's what often snowballs you one way or the other. Like if we disrespect and we lose our tempo playing for plates here, then like say Kayn comes up and he TPs back and we die, then the game's fucked, right? But we just like we don't do that. You respect it. We just base, come back. I like that. It's fine. Again, like I think not having boots here makes this a little uncomfortable, but that's fine.
Yeah.
I think like this is you could just fast push here, like you could just shove here, but I think there's no reason not to just slow push here.
Oh, okay.
Right? We don't see him. And 2, what we want, like Jax wants the wave on his side of the lane. Because 1, we want to be able to farm safely, we're fine with that. And then 2, when Yone shows up, we want to have the whole lane to walk him down and kill him. Right? If he's under tower, like you were saying earlier, if he's in his happy place, like under his tower, there's no way you can really hit him.
Okay.
Right? So we want to just keep the wave here as much as possible. Set the wave up on our side as much as possible. Because then that keeps us safe from jungle ganks, keeps us safe from like weird support roams. And not to mention, it just enables your game plan against the Yone. So I don't think we necessarily need to shove here. And like, see, we just shove it, and then like now he can just catch us this wave for free.
Yeah.
Whereas before, if we just slow push this like we did earlier, and now that you know, like slow pushing is also going to deny him creeps and gold and experience. It's like, it's just, you see how it's playing into your game plan so well, just slow pushing this.
Yeah.
I like this though, honestly. It's like so. This is you playing with your tempo again, right? So we have Prio in our lane. We crash our wave. And now Yone has to catch this wave, right? He's stuck in lane catching this wave. So now you have a tempo advantage. Meaning like you have time on the map to go get things done where Yone is stuck in lane. And you have a couple options here. We can either go into their jungle and get like deep vision down. Or we can go mid to catch something and make something happen. I just like that you're not just AFK sitting in lane and that you're intentional like using this time. It's specifically.
I feel like I saw the Kayn go into his jungle, and I was not ready to fight Yone or and Kayn at the same time. I just wanted to finish Triforce before I did that. So I was like, okay, I know 4 people are bot. The thing in my mind was Silas is gonna fast push the wave and get the plates. So the one thing I can do at this time is I can catch that wave and go back to top and catch my wave again. That's like catching an extra wave.
Totally.
Yone. So
totally. Yeah.
That's the idea behind that. Yeah.
100%, bro. Just the fact that you have intention and you're thinking about stuff at this level, that's beautiful. Like that's really just awesome. Like the specific decisions. The more you play, the more you play with intention like this, the more you'll see options. What I was saying here, it's like you don't even have to go in here to fight Kane. It can literally just be to drop a ward on his red and see, like, is he there? What's he doing? Just gives your team information. But seeing this wave is going to die and nobody's going to get it and going to catch it, that's also amazing intention. Like, that's not a bad decision by any means. I really like that as well, especially that you have the understanding, like, I'm going to catch this, then go back top.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's really clean.
I'm gonna like neutralize the wave so that Kassadin can at least, play it out however he wants. Because I know Kassadin's super weak until like level 16 or something like that, which I don't really get. But then I know that if it was pushing into Silas, it would be a lot harder for him to farm. So just like keeping the wave in the middle was like my intention for him.
Yeah, so Kassadin, that's kind of like an older myth now. It's like Kassadin spikes quite hard at 11. He's not really the late game carry he used to be. The main reason that people say he spikes hard at 16 is because his ult. His ult cooldown getting really low enables him insanely. But like 10 years ago, when Kassadin ult was like the most mobile champion in the game, when he hit level 16, there was nothing the enemy team could do about it because it was just Twisted Fate and Ashe. Like, there was no mobility, right? Nowadays, it's a completely different world, and it's not quite the same. So I would say Kassadin nowadays spikes really hard in 11 when he's got his strong like rank 2 ult, he's got malignance, that sort of stuff. But I digress there. Again, the intention's great. I love it. I love that we're even just for you thinking like there's a wave dying, I can get more golden experience and then get back top to my wave in time. That's beautiful intention. Jax is a champion that needs gold and experience to function well. So playing with the mindset of like I need to consume as much golden experience as possible. Very important. So just that's what I would like to see.
Yeah, so the reason I went in was I saw he missed his ult, and I know like a huge part of Yone's damage comes from his ult. So I was just like, there's even if I fight this, I get like a one. I go 1-for-1 at least, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm not. Yeah.
and then
there's nothing wrong at all with just taking this fight. I really don't think so at all, by no means.
And I knew my TP was up in 18, so I would come back and at least, even if I did die, I would get some part of the wave that was crashed on top. So yeah.
So I think like the only thing here, it's probably a little nitpicky and a little hindsight-ish, but like we know this wave's pushing in. We know it's crashing and that we just want to get it. This ward kind of doesn't accomplish a ton for us right now, right?
Yeah.
Just because it's like we're not going to be under threat if the wave's right here anyways. So it's like this ward isn't actually keeping us safe. I think a better ward might just be to get down onto the Raptors or like onto the scuttle area, and not the Raptors, but the scuttle area and like Krugs or whatever spawning here. Just so you can see what's going to happen around this objective and around the scuttle. Like, again, this ward isn't super keeping us safe, and I think if we just put a ward here and then keep a ward to ward hop, it's like that's plenty of safety enough.
Okay.
And especially like it's just if we don't know where Kane is, it's kind of
drawing on the screen.
Can you not see it? Oh fuck, dude! I've been drawing this whole time. That's so sad. Let me see. I might have. Yeah, that's my bad, bro. Fuck.
When you said here, I was like,
fuck, dude. I've been. Dude, holy shit! I've been drawing this whole time. Damn. Yes. So I have been, but.
Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunate. Anyways, but yes, like we know the wave's gonna be here. I would just put a ward down here. A ward here isn't keeping us safe.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
wow, I'm so sad. Fuck, my bad, bro. That's so tragic. But anyways, like once we're in this situation, your only option is to ward hop, flash out, or take the fight.
Yeah.
I think
because I knew like Kane was like a lot stronger than me because he was like he's 81 CS with I think like 2 items, and I know like Kane's really insane with his ult. Like he heals so much off of it when he like comes out, right? So
yes, the thing to keep in mind here though is Kane's not transformed yet. He's still base Kane. Like, do you know how Kane works like that?
Yeah. So I did kind of pick up Kane for a bit when I used to play him jungle, and I know that like he's like super mobile, and like his Q and his W are his like main sources of damage.
Yep.
So you combo with him, and then he goes into his ult. So I'm not really sure how to like play around it other than just like out damage him to that point, right? So,
totally. So the main thing though is like he is base Kane still. He's not blue or red yet. So when Kane's base Kane, he's only like 75% of a champion.
Okay.
And then once he hits one of his transformations, he's like 125% of champion. That's kind of how his like his shit works, right? So you're honestly you're not too scared here because you know with your E that Yone can't do jack shit to you. And that when he's base Kane, yeah, he's scary with Dirk and he's got some kills. So like he's not weak by any means, but I definitely agree. Like I like that you recognize just like you can fight here.
Yeah.
And it's like I also like that we're saving our E for Yone to come, and we're saving our ult to get max value out of hitting two people, get like double resistances. Like you play the fight pretty well. And I like that you just take it just in general too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do some dumb thing like I try to flash and like do something here.
I don't think it's a terrible idea. I think it's your. I think there's two options here where you just understand it's very likely I just go 1-for-1 here and I'm not going to waste flash just to have flash up for later. But I think also if you're thinking, were you thinking like, okay, maybe I can flash and get my E back up, or was it just panic?
Yeah. I don't know. I flashed. And I'm like, okay, I don't win this, and then I'm like, okay, I can possibly get my E back up. The main thing in my mind was like, okay, I need to dodge his Q, and then if I dodge his Q, if I like space it out, I can get my E and I can turn the fight around like 100%. And I know I couldn't do that, but then I just think I didn't like play it mechanically pretty well.
Yeah, I think if you're completely right. If right now we had the presence of mind to like he's coming out of his ult, he's likely going to Q me again. Like if you flash Q here, I think you actually can kill him.
Okay.
Right, because we just take the Q damage and then it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Right. But I think like if we had a little bit more health for when our E came back up, you actually have a chance to kill him. But
yeah,
it's kind of low percentage. Regardless, like we get the 1-for-1, it's not bad. There's another world where we're just like we sell for the 1-for-1 and we just don't waste our flash. But again, if we go back to like what our kind of goal is on Jax, it's not that we don't want to be taking fights like this, but like you identified earlier, it's like we'd rather be taking these fights when we have Trinity Force.
Yeah.
And so with that in mind, it's like we know this wave's pushing in. We know it's going to be in a spot where we're safe. It's just low percentage to even go walk up for this word. Because it's just like, if Kane's here, we're just inviting what happens, right?
Yeah.
And then what ends up happening is like, yeah, we go 1-for-1, but look what's happening. We're losing all this golden experience.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what we want to prioritize. And like, yeah, it's nice we got to kill in Yone, but like, if we're playing better, we're killing Yone anyways.
Yeah, true.
So it's just like, especially like I was saying earlier with how snowbally League is and how important it is on Jax to be getting golden experience. We want to be creating as clean of a foundation as possible to be setting things up so we're not in a position we're in a position where we can just move into the rest of the game on a strong foundation.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a ton of great stuff here, man. Like definitely a bunch of good stuff. Definitely some mistakes and stuff to work on. But I like what I'm seeing so far. Let's just move on to another game. Let's get into another early game here. Just because like laning is going to be the thing that gives you the most. Like if we can shore up our laning, get that as consistent as possible, that's going to give us the most value. That'll make the rest of the game just easier to play, right?
Yeah, I remember this laning phase against Tom Kench. Like, it was so bad. But like, I remember the game went kind of okay. But like, all I did was there was like we were about to lose a game, but I think I won the game to like backdooring or something like that.
Fuck yeah!
But all I remember this game was just like completely farming, completely avoiding fights. That was like my entire like mindset in this because I just feel like it was such a hard matchup for me to win. But yeah,
Tom Kench is tough because he's a strong early lane bully. He fights the early game very well. He does a ton of damage, but he then just falls off a cliff. So as long as you don't feed him early, you can definitely come back. It is a game actually where I don't think Bork is that terrible just because he loves stacking HP. So it gives you a bunch of value there, and getting lifesteal is very nice. It's a game, again, like this is a game where we need presence of mind. Not having presence of mind is terrible here. It's really bad. It's a game even where I think Grasp might be better. I don't like Conquer ever. It's definitely just Lethal Tempo or Grasp. I think this is probably like a Grasp Mana Flow game.
Okay.
Or Lethal Tempo is still fine. If you do Lethal Tempo with Presence of Mind Bloodline, I think that would be honestly very good into Tom Kench.
Okay.
Regardless,
I just
you
went Conqueror because I feel like their team comp was like Kha'Zix is pretty auto attack heavy. MF, you kind of need to stick on her. So I thought it was just easier to proc Conqueror for all three. So I was just like, okay, Conqueror seems like a better option.
yeah, I would just say Conquer doesn't really enable anything there specifically. I would just say for lane, Grasp is just going to be have so much value, and Lethal Tempo just enables your damage in side lane and as you scale so well. So it's
Yeah.
one of the two. It's always just one of the two.
Okay.
And here's a game where it's like it's actually I think the biggest mistake we're making here is like not being on the wave on the crash here. This initial crash
Okay.
is really bad because say we have tempo or grasp, even with conquer, it's still fine. What we want to be doing in this situation is just stacking our passive up.
Okay.
One, we want to be stacking our passive up, but two, not being on the wave first. Like, see, Tom Kench is on the wave first, and he starts playing minion. Like, what he does here is amazing. He auto attacks the creep once, and then he looks to push you off the wave. This guarantees he's going to get level 2 first. This guarantees he's going to be getting control of the wave first. And then he's looking to just keep you from hitting the wave. Like, that's really good stuff here. Say we were...
My only thing was I knew he was walking up to Q, and his Q slows you so much. So my main thing was, okay, like I know, like, if he Qs early game, I win because he can't he doesn't have his E where he like goes like
jumps on you.
underground. Yeah. So like I know that. So my main thing was, okay, if I can dodge his Q, then I can get back to lane and get the sort of the control over the minions again, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, for sure. Also, if we're just standing behind creeps, he can't hit you with Q.
Okay.
So it's just like, you should just be... It's fine to sit here and wait and see if they're going to walk up from like Leashing or something weird, but I don't do it at the cost of not being on the wave, being at the wave on time.
Okay.
We definitely want, like, we want to be here as they're crashing. As they're touching each other, we want to be here and putting down an auto attack, maybe even 2. Okay. And then if he walks up, we can just start our counter strike, or look to bait out his Q. But we don't want to give lane control right away.
Okay.
And here it's like, I think we just don't need to be... We can just keep putting damage down on the wave. It's just like you already identified. It's like we want to be hitting level 2 first. That'll allow us to get better trades.
Yeah.
So just... And we don't want to let him just stack waves into us because that just makes everything easier for him. Because if this wave gets big and then eventually crashes, he can just keep licking you under tower, and that's going to be very annoying to deal with. If we have the opposite thing in turn, where we're setting up a big crash, then he has to be focused on last hitting, and he can't just be queuing you all the time.
Yeah.
Does this remind you of anything?
Yeah, the Yone he
right. So what should we be doing when we see him doing this?
Turn on Counter Strike.
Exactly. Yeah. And I even kind of like, I don't know, between Q and W, I think you could even get W in this situation. It could be fine. But regardless, just we should be counter striking. And also, if you have the presence of mind to drop a warden here, if you see him walking towards the bush.
Yeah. I just thought like he was in my counter strike range, even in the bush. I just didn't expect him to go back to my tower, so I was
But he's confident playing it well here,
yeah.
So that's just small. It's like I think it's like ultimately we're not looking for a crazy trade, but we could definitely min max this more.
And he plays like super well around the bush. Like, I wanted a Q on him there, but then he just walks into the bush and then it just made no sense.
So I think that's awkward here is like he's got lane control, right? So he's hitting level 3 first. But even then, it's like, again, if people are doing this sort of aggressive movements onto you, it's in the name, right? Counter strike. We're gonna hit them after they make a move, right? We see this shit, like, again, we know what we're gonna do here from now on.
Yeah.
Because Counter Strike reduces all damage taken. It's not just like you can't get hit by auto attacks, but other abilities, it just also reduces the damage taken.
Oh, okay. I just thought it was autos.
So you can't get hit by auto attacks, but you take reduced damage from like all sources.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because like he's got to level up, but look how fucking like much damage you do here,
Yeah.
right?
I'm pretty sure my idea was like, okay, I've got him low enough
Hmm.
to a point where if I hit level 3, I can possibly kill him. So then I just start hitting the minions
Hmm.
quicker now because I was not confident in the matchup, so I kind of got pushed in, and then I thought, okay, the wave's a little too big, so then I let it crash, and then I wanted to play out the bounce. So yeah, I kind of realize now that this was like a really bad roam because my wave is in a really bad spot, but like I got one kill out of it, and I don't know if it was completely worth it because even if I TP'd back, it was but he pushed majority of the wave in, so
I would say
I
like
feel
the
like it
biggest
worked out.
issues stemming in this lane are just coming from the level 1. Honestly, it's like
Okay.
if we don't give up push here, this lane feels way better to me. Because
Okay.
your wave clear is way better than his, right? Because you can stack up your passive, you have AoE on your E, you have auto reset on your W. It's like you have way better control of the wave than he does. If we're just not
Hmm.
letting him get control of the wave on level 1, I think this is a way cleaner matchup for you.
Okay.
It's not necessarily easy because right, we have to be dodging his Qs. We can't just be like taking poor trades. But if we're hitting level 2 first, if we're hitting level 3 first, we're enabling better trades anyways.
Yeah.
I'd say the biggest thing here is coming from the fact that we're not looking to get control of the wave.
Okay.
And something that, like you were talking about a 3-wave crash earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the only way to enable a 3-wave crash is to be getting control of the wave on level 1 or
Uh-huh.
100% wrestling it back on level 2. But the only way to do that is if we're not completely sacking, like the wave's too big here where it's hard to get level 2 and fight him off. And that again
Yeah.
comes back from level 1 just like not being at the crash on time, not getting the damage down. And
Mm-hmm.
it's snowballing out of here. Well,
Okay.
it's like what we could do if we did get the crash or if we did get control of the wave, we're stacking our wave up. So we want to play level, we just want to get control on wave 1 so that we hit level 2 first to maintain
Mm-hmm.
control so that when the third wave comes in, we can fast push it, crash, and reset. That's
Okay.
what a 3-wave crash is. I think in your next game, we have an opportunity to like look at it a little bit cleaner. But
Mm-hmm.
that's the main thing I'm looking at. Like this whole thing feels awkward because I don't feel like we should be getting pushed in. And we
Okay.
do. And like you see, like even here, what I would like to do is like force him to push you off the wave. So you see him walking back, I would walk up and start counter striking. Because like look how
Okay.
close your wave is here.
Mm-hmm.
If we just counter strike this and we try to like hold it right here, it just makes it that much more annoying for Tom Kench.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Because he is getting a 3-wave crash. He's resetting. He's coming back out into the map with an item advantage with full
Uh-huh.
HP that you don't have, and he can come to this fight
Mm-hmm.
with an item advantage with full HP, and it makes it much better. Imagine it
Yeah.
was the opposite, right? Imagine we had control of the lane. Imagine we pushed him in and we had gotten that 3-wave crash. He's currently
Yeah.
stuck catching this. He could never come to this fight.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And you see how that snowballs all out of that level 1?
Yeah. 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 Mm-hmm.
So it's like that's something if you can internalize that, it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take a look at this one. Who's this guy? Or into a Trundle. Okay, Trundle's interesting Jax matchup. It gets pretty spicy. Because like you can
Actually,
definitely go ahead.
I actually prefer Ignite on this matchup, but then the Ignite, I forgot to put Ignite on the matchup because I know with Ignite I beat him early, like pretty easily early on, right? So but I don't know if for some reason the Ignite didn't go through, or if I didn't have like the presence of minds to take Ignite. But I prefer Ignite in this matchup. Is like usually.
Yeah, it makes sense because like it cuts his heal. Like Trundle's got a decent amount of healing going on. His W
Yeah.
increases his healing. His ult can heal. So
Hmm.
Ignite just does make killing him in the 1v1 almost a sure thing always. You definitely don't need it on Jax, and taking TP and top feels really nice.
Hmm.
Especially in this matchup because like with Counter Strike, you can definitely fight him because like again his Q is an auto attack, so you can dodge his Q with your E.
Yeah.
So you can definitely outfight him without Ignite, but if you like taking Ignite, it definitely guarantees the 1v1. So it's not a bad idea by any means. Again, here it's like we're seeing the same thing, right? We're getting no value out of sitting in here. It's fine to do it up until a point, but we're not there on the crash. And that's just something that is consistently biting you in the ass.
Okay. Hmm.
I like this though. Like this is what we should have been doing on the Yone, right? Like,
Yeah.
there's not a ton you can do about it. And even this first auto attack, there's no reason to take it. Like, if you see him doing this, start E right away. Because what's he going to do outside of auto attack you? If he's walking this close to you, he's got one thing on his mind. So there's no reason to even let him. Yeah, there's no reason to even let that auto come through.
No, because I think the main thing was if he autos me, my minions get aggro onto him, and then if I auto him, the minions aggro onto me. So I want my minions to aggro him, and his minions to aggro me. So when I turn on Counter Strike, that's like the logic. I don't know
Yeah,
if
but
that
like,
makes any
see,
sense.
it does. I mean, that's fine logic. But one, that auto attack increases your Counter Strike damage. Two, he autos you, and as soon as you put Counter Strike up, he's like, "Oh shit," and he starts running away, right? So how many of your creeps are actually hitting him here?
Yeah.
So, and that's going to be consistent. Like, nobody's going to fight you in a Counter Strike and walk up. It's like, that wouldn't make sense, right?
Yeah.
And as you start playing against better people, nobody's even going to be walking up to you like this. But if he is, there's no reason to let him get this auto off. And your auto is always going to pull aggro here, regardless of Counter Strike or not. So, I mean, it's nitpicky, it's min-maxy, but it's important.
Yeah.
And another thing here that's important too is like the difference between D Blade and D Shield. I was looking through a lot of Jax, like high level Jax players, and pretty much all of them are going D Shield. I think that's completely fine. But what I'm trying to emphasize here is taking short trades on D Shield is super good versus D Blade. Because you're just going to sustain it back, obviously. Especially since you have second wind, that's just very good value there.
What I usually do is I've been running a lot of into like matchups that I know that are like pretty easy, like Aatrox. I run D Blade, but then D Shield. This is something where I know I need to take like short trades and stuff like that. So
Yep, totally. You know, totally. If you feel comfortable taking D Blade, obviously it's going to have higher offensive value, and it's going to have way more value throughout the whole game because the lifesteal on it is just very nice. But D Shield, if you ever think like maybe I should take D Shield, just go for it. Won't serve you wrong.
Yeah.
Why are we backing up here? What do we think? What's that about?
So the thing is, I just wanted the wave to crash, I believe, and then fight back in. But then I in hindsight, I think I should have just walked up at him and just started counter striking.
Exactly. Like, what world does this go poorly for you if you start walking at him in Counter Strike? What can he do? He can auto you, and then he can Q you, which is an auto attack. What the fuck's he gonna do if you Counter Strike?
Yeah, true.
He's gonna be raging, thinking Jax is the most busted champion in the game. You know, it's like there's no reason to let him give him any respect here. And that doing that doesn't inhibit you from playing the wave, right? And like we were saying, it's like what we actually want to be like. We have control of wave one. We know since we have creep advantage right here, we're going to hit level 2 first. So the two things we're actually playing for are level 2 first, and then to push this wave as slowly as possible. Because what we ideally want is wave 3 to come in and crash on that.
Okay.
But yeah, there's no reason to let him do anything here. There's no reason not to take the good trade here. There's just no reason not to. Hit level 2. Yeah, perfect. I mean, we lose an auto attack there, but that's all right. Yeah. I think, yeah, we lose 2 auto attacks here, right? Q auto E. We missed this auto attack here for some reason.
Yeah.
And then on the way out here, instead of autoing him again right here, we auto a creep.
Yeah.
And then we start fast pushing, which actually we don't. But right now it's like it's really delicate because we need this wave to come in. So we can push this.
Like he was in dive range, so like I could definitely dive him once my E came up. So like in my mind, I was like, okay, if I get one more good like Q auto trade on him, a Q auto E would like definitely finish him because he didn't have the health pot, right? He used it up. So my goal was like, okay, I don't mind it being here as long as I can get one good trade outside the turret, and then this is there, and then I was like, okay, I will crash the wave, and then I'll dive him. Was like the intention of that because I knew like I don't usually like
if you're really quick right now, auto W, flash auto W kills him. Yeah. If you're really quick, that'd be a crazy kill though. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's not bad. If you dive him and you kill him on the crashed wave, that's not bad. Going 1 for 1 there is not bad at all. But it's not consistent, and that's the thing, right? We were talking about with Jax specifically and League in general. Like getting your consistent early game is very, very important. One, like wave, so we've missed 4 creeps on this wave so far, which that's not terrible, but it's also not great. But like what we can do here is, so one, like why we want the wave to be meeting more out here is so we can push this next wave quickly and safely, right? Like we were saying, like you identified earlier, we're getting close to the time where junglers are going to be like, one, we saw your junglers start here, so we know they're clearing topside. If their jungler was paying a bunch of attention, ACs, you guys are heavy trading, ECs, you're overextended like this, he would probably skip camps and come kill you. So what I want you to identify here is this is a bad lane position for you, right? One, Trundle's happy because like this is a really safe lane position for him. You can't really deal damage to him safely, and you're overexposed to ganks. So this is why like a 2-wave or 3-wave crash is so important, is because now it's going to get us out of lane when we're in a really unsafe position.
Yeah.
So if we just kill this wave quickly, and ultimately like this is what happens, right? Trundle bases, this wave drops. If we had the presence of mind to understand like, okay, this is a 3-wave crash. This is a huge wave that's stacked up on 3 waves. Trundle, you already did a great job of getting him low on trades where he has to base TP. What we want to do now is play for our tempo. Prioritize our tempo. What I would like you to do here is instantly just recall.
Okay. I wanted to check if I could catch him off his recall. I think that was the intention here. Yeah. So then I think I flash Q. Okay. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think like I like the intention, but you see him recalling right now. You know, it's like you see him recalling right now.
Okay.
By the time we get the wave pushed in, there's no way we're gonna catch him. And even more than that, like you already won. You already did your job here. You don't need to like go crazy. It's like getting him to base recall base TP by 3 minutes is amazing. All we got to do now is guarantee our TP advantage.
Okay.
So we just instantly like, this is like if you identify like I 3-wave crash properly here, I can just base and then walk back to lane. That's an amazing advantage already.
Okay.
Ideally, we're CSing a little bit better, and what you can actually do in this situation is buy an early coal.
Okay.
Because that would just like, go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just never really knew when to buy calls. Like I've seen people do it on like YouTube videos, but like I never really knew like, okay, what does a call do for you?
So coal just accelerates your gold generation. That's all it does, right? It gives you, it's a decent starting item in terms of like, it's actually like it gives you 7 AD and 3 HP on hit. It's a pretty good starting item just for like, you want to buy coal as early as possible. I often, like if you're getting a 3-wave crash and you're CS properly, you'll have enough money to buy coal. That's the best time to do it.
I miss this cannon, so like it really messed up my
yeah, it would have been a little bit, but even
gold,
then you wouldn't have been quite at 450 even with the cannon. But yeah, just the CSing in general here, you're down like 6 creeps. I think that's not great. But ultimately, it's like, yes, like if you're ever getting a clean 3-wave crash, we should, and you base on 450, buy the coal. That's a beautiful starting like foundation.
Okay.
But here ultimately it's like, right, we want to identify like if we just played for tempo here, we play for the instant reset. It's much better. There's no reason to hit the tower. There's no reason to play for the smallest proc, because like before 5 minutes, top lane towers don't take any damage. Top and mid towers don't take damage before 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
There's a special passive, I forget what it's actually called, but it's just because in pro play they used to do lane swaps all the time. And so only bot lane takes full damage before 5 minutes. So there's absolutely no point to ever hitting a tower before 5 minutes on top.
Okay.
Also, for keeping in mind, we know their junglers over here. Why do we want to be in this awkward of a lane position? Because that's half the reason we want this crash to get down, is so we can get out of lane. Right? Because say a world where we didn't trade on him as heavily or whatever, and he had enough HP to stay in lane here, we just want to get out of lane and walk back. Because it's tempo, right? He's stuck last hitting this wave. He's stuck here. So what that would mean is if we based and TP'd, came back, and he had to play the bounce out, we have an HP and item advantage. That's the other benefit of doing a 3-wave crash, if he doesn't have to base TP. If you force him to base TP, that's also just winning.
Yeah.
Regardless, like see what ends up happening since we don't play for our tempo is now we fuck up our whole lane.
Mhm.
So we just lose flash, and now we're forced to TP back. And this beautiful early lane that we did have, where we forced him into this awkward position where he has to base TP, we now fuck up just because we walk up here. Like, it's crazy, but that's it. It's literally that's it, is that we take a Demolish proc that does 5% of the towers, like the plating, does literally nothing, and now we lose TP and flash. And it's just like, that sucks, right?
Yeah.
And you see this all stems from just not having our clean 3-wave crash here. Not even the clean 3-wave, but more you're not utilizing the tempo you gained here. You're just getting, I think, like, you wanted to get the kill down, and then you didn't really, like, you're like, fuck, like, I didn't get it, like, like, I'm just gonna, like, get Demolish off, hit the tower, like, But you see now in hindsight, like, if you just play for your tempo correctly here, then you're coming back to lane with TP advantage. And that's beautiful. That would be a completely successful early lane. We'll go forward until something else happens, but honestly, like, that's all the learning I think you want to take here. I think, like, I like that you're not, like, do you identify the situation, like, what to do in this situation?
I mean, like, I know the wave's pushing towards me. If I take a trade, I need to play the bounce back with lower HP, and I will also and he will come back to lane with an item advantage. So I remember,
Yeah, exactly. Like, so all that's exactly, like, all that stuff. But the main thing is here is, like, this is a big stacked wave. Taking a trade now is terrible because if for the off chance you die, you lose this whole wave, especially without TP. What it's just, you're respecting the bounce, right? We guaranteed our crash. We know that if we get a clean crash, it's going to bounce back into us. All we need to do is catch the wave. It seems like you understand that kind of inherently here. That's great, right? Because there's so many top laners that for some reason will just take this fight, die, lose this whole wave, and your game's over. So just respect the bounce. All we got to do is collect the wave. Don't got to do anything fancy here. So I like that that's all we're doing. The only thing I would say again that we can do, this is pretty fancy, but, like, it's definitely doable, especially on Jax, is with Counter-Strike, we can just hold the wave here. So what I want you to do is just, like, eye this wave, see how far away it is, think, okay, could I hold the wave here and be really annoying? And if you think, yeah, there's a chance I can, go for it. Because, again, what can Trundle really do if you just sit here with Counter-Strike? And you're not trying to take a trade. All we're trying to do is hold the wave right here. Because, like you identified, like, this is a happy spot for you. That makes it very easy for you to do what you need to do. And it just keeps you safe for longer. So just something that we've seen a couple times now, where, like, you have the option to hold the wave here with your Counter-Strike. Especially with how close it is. Literally, all you do is Counter-Strike and you stand, like, right here. And say we did that, right? And we have this whole wave here, and it's going to be here for longer. That gives Teemo a really nice angle to come up. Or a cat can clear this and come up, right? It's just helping expose Trundle for longer. Yeah, I mean, I like this trade, honestly. I don't mind it at all. I think what you could maybe do here is just, like, how he's doing this. I don't think you need to jump on him. Right? I think you can just walk up, auto WE, and then once your stun's over, you can Q out if you need to. It keeps you that option. But I mean, ultimately, it's like we're seeing, like, how potent you are into this guy. It's like it makes it really easy.
And I know not to get hit by the wall because, like, it's such a huge slow.
Oh yeah.
And just, like, I hate it so much. Like, it's just CC and slows in the game are just like, it bothers me so much because I just feel like I can't move, right? So
it's annoying. But right, like, so if we're not wasting our Q here, because, like, if you can just like walk up and auto W him, that's not a bad trade either, because, like, your W gives you increased attack range, right? So you could take an even shorter trade where you just auto W him or you just W him. But you can also just walk up. Let me get my guy. Walk up, auto W him, start your Counter-Strike, and then once he pillars you, then you Q out.
Okay.
Right? And then he has no recourse. He gets nothing back onto you. But even then, it's like this trade is still so winning. Like, the HP is so much better, and you still have the long lane here.
Yeah, and he couldn't get the wave pushed in. So like I was so ready to like as Timo came up, I was just ready to immediately just
Exactly. I mean, yeah, very nice.
Mhm.
I mean, this is all coming from lane position, and then like you took a couple nice trades. It's
Mhm.
like, yeah, it's great stuff here. I think this is definitely nitpicky. If he's not backing up, I feel like if he's not running away because he sees Timo, like as soon as you see him like come back like this, you could probably just go a little bit slower to make it more guaranteed for Timo. Obviously, it still works out, but that's just something to think about, right? Your Timo is still a little far away by the time you go in.
I felt like he was low enough HP to where if I was done with my E combo,
Mhm.
he would be like below 50%, right? And
Yep.
then with Timo, it would be like a guaranteed kill, no matter where he was in the lane.
Yeah,
Even
fair
if I had to
enough.
like blow my flash to like get him under tower, that's something I was willing to do.
Totally.
So
Totally nitpicky on my end, but something to think about. There are certain
yeah, yeah,
champions where if you go a little too early, it might mess it
yeah.
up. Just be aware of
Mhm,
that. But obviously, right, you get the kill down, you kill, like it's perfectly fine.
mhm, mhm,
Yeah, it's just unfortunate. So what I would actually probably do here
mhm.
is maybe ping Timo to help you push this wave. Like have
Okay.
him stay with you here. Because if
Mhm.
you ideally want to get the crash off on this one, right?
Okay.
So maybe just like ping, assistance, push.
Mhm.
That's all you can really do. It's like,
Okay.
right, this is so awkward that this happens.
Yeah. And I usually find myself in this position, and like I'm like the first thing is like I don't even care if I get the minions. I just want to get it pushed in so that I get
Exactly.
the bounce back. Is
Exactly.
what
That's
my
critical.
mental is. Yeah.
It's good you recognize that. All we can really do in this situation is
And the thing is, like I've heard like on YouTube videos and stuff where they like use all your abilities to push it in. But then if I feel like if I use my E with Jax, which is like really good wave clear, I feel like if I get like a gank or if anything happens, you're just completely just so like vulnerable without your E, right? So
this
I
is
just
true.
avoid that at all times. Yeah.
Totally. It just depends how badly you need the wave in, what the situation's like. You're actually not that bad. Like I think if you use E here, but you don't use Q, you live. And also, if you don't like go to hit the tower, you're probably way safer. Like if you just
Yeah,
start
yeah,
like again, it's like we're playing for tempo here now. We're not playing to hit
yeah.
demolish. You already got a kill.
Mhm.
What's important is basing cleanly and spending our gold, getting back onto the map as quickly as possible, so we're not losing
Mhm.
XP, and we just want to be back out. We
Mhm.
don't want to be playing for a plate here. It makes no sense. We don't need to be playing for tower damage. If we
Mhm.
just as soon as this wave gets like as soon as you could even leave it on this creep, it doesn't matter, right? Like
Okay.
the creep won't, like you could leave the casters and your wave would probably still crash fine if you're really
Okay.
worried about it. But even then, it's like
Uh-huh.
as soon as this creep dies, as if we start pathing to the bush, we're fine. If we start
Okay.
patching just like back up so we can get a safe
Mhm.
TP off or a base off, we're fine.
Mhm.
What actually kills you
Okay.
here is like walking up to hit the tower.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I get
And we're probably still safe here because you have E and ward hop.
mhm.
So it's just like now our tempo is so fucked though, right? And
Mhm.
now we're gonna lose creeps on this. Actually, he doesn't push any time, so we're ultimately fine.
Mhm.
But you see the issue with
Like a
this,
better
right?
player would have definitely
A better
like
player is just basing right now, is back to lane even earlier, and
mhm.
it's just better for you, and you can take more advantage of the trundle.
Mhm. Mhm.
And again, probably instead of longsword here. Actually, no, you bought the longsword earlier. Never mind.
Mhm.
I'm just saying again, like not having boots is a little awkward, but I prefer Sheen over
Yeah.
boots here, so it's fine.
Mhm.
CS again, not great, but it's okay. Oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can take one more tower shot here. That's fine. Like you could let this take probably one more, and it would put it on a sliver.
Yeah.
That's something that just comes with
Uh,
time, but you would have
yeah.
been fine.
Like
Just
the main thing
panicking.
is like I'm so used to like seeing like the creeps of like the regular casters in the melee that when I see the HP of the cannon, I can't judge how many more tower shots it would take because I feel like with the with the regular minion, it was supposed to die with the next tower shot,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Just a feel thing comes with time.
Mhm,
You'll get
mhm,
there. Don't stress it. And again here, right? Like we want to be slow pushing because we know Trundle's not here. What's so unfortunate is like creeps in this position get so suicidal. I don't know what it is,
Yeah.
bro. They get so fucking suicidal. And he's just like, fuck it, dude. I don't want to live anymore. Like, take me out. It's just like, why, man? Why? God damn, it's so
And I
frustrating.
feel like running over to get that creep, you lose another creep that you were so focused on getting, right?
Yeah,
So, like,
exactly. So what you can actually do here, there's two things. One, you push these a little bit quicker, and that will put your wave, give your wave more time to walk out. So the wave's meeting like right here.
okay.
Two, once like if you're just aware these creeps like literally hate their lives, what you got to do is like, if you see this guy doing this shit, you walk up here and you can body block him. And it's like you pull the guy off the ledge, you're hugging him on the bridge. You're like, no, don't go, don't jump, don't jump. It's like that. So
Yeah. Wait, you can body block
yeah,
creeps in the game?
you sure can.
Oh, okay.
And then like it'll confuse their aggro, and then they'll just start hitting you or a different creep.
Oh, okay.
So that's what you can do, but that's min-maxing, and it's definitely like requires you to be paying attention to it, but you can do it. But ultimately, it's like the intention here is like we want to be slow pushing. That forces Trundle to miss creeps, keeps us safe as long, gives us the ability to stack a wave and get like cash in our tempo. Ultimately, like you keep seeing that, which I like. What do you?
I see where like if you start the E first,
You're stunning him
you
right
definitely-
now.
Yeah, right now, yeah. And then I can get in front of him and then get the autos done.
Exactly.
Mhm.
So here, when we're pushing this part of the wave, what we need to be paying attention is this. Our reinforcing wave, because that's what's going to dictate. Because obviously, like where your wave is where their wave is. It's going to be the same, right? And so what's important is like how clean is my crash going to be here. Now, when the wave's meeting like this, it's like it's so fucking awkward to get this wave in, you know, and you can't actually do anything. And now our tempo is awkward. Nice. I mean, yeah, if he's going to do that, but like you see, it's like it's still just awkward. This is all just so awkward. And it
like,
comes
if
from
he didn't get his Q off, I think I kill him there, right?
You just don't really have the damage. I just don't think we really. I think you save ults for your next rotation and you can dive him.
Okay.
That's probably what you do here. It's like you just take the E trade. And yeah, I just think you just save your ult for the next rotation. You just don't really have the damage. Hey, fuck it though. It works out, man. Nice.
Yeah. And I was completely prepared to even like die on that wave. Like I didn't expect to live because I'm like, okay, he lost enough minions.
Or it's always good. Yeah, I definitely agree, right? It's like he's gonna lose more. You're getting more out of the kill. Not only because is he losing minions, but you're guaranteeing the pushback.
Yeah. And then I just saw that he was just tanking all the minions like up front. So I'm like, okay, I have probably enough damage to just burst him out.
Yeah, Triumph comes in clutch here, honestly, it does. But yeah, you don't greed the wave. Nice. Honestly, it's not bad at all. But again, just like as we're looking, anytime you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna crash this wave, what your steps need to be is like, where's the reinforcing wave gonna be? And that's what's telling you how much time you have to get the wave under tower. Okay, so why this is so unfortunate. Like you have this beautiful situation set up.
Yeah.
Why are we shoving?
I'm really not too sure. I think I just autopiloted and then just started shoving.
You see how fucked he is if you just let this come into you?
Yeah.
He's losing all these creeps and he has to walk into you. He has no ability to break a freeze that you hold.
Okay.
So what you want to look at, what you want to think about here is like, how can I hold this wave here for as long as possible? Because what eventually is going to end up happening is Trundle's going to get really mad and he's going to walk up and just try and hit the wave anyways. And then that's when you run him down. Yep. Okay. Or conversely, the correct thing their team can do is he has to call his jungler up. And if that happens, that's still good for you because that's making his jungler waste time pushing a wave where your jungler can go counter invade or your bot lane can play really aggressive because they know where the jungler is. So either way, like knowing that there's no objectives up here, you just want to think about how can I hold this wave here as long as possible. It's going to either... One, you're guaranteeing Trundle's losing creeps and gold and experience. Then two, it's likely Trundle eventually gets antsy. He walks up and you kill him. Or 3, they force the jungler to show. All scenarios are winning for you as long as you let the wave push into you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's just unfortunate. Ultimately, what the fuck? That's all I have to say here. Is just what the fuck, bro. That's literally all I can say about this whole thing. That's fucking crazy. I mean, you get 3 plates, Trundle dies. Like, that's, I mean, yeah. Okay, so
I
let's.
think you get the entire tower at like 10 minutes or something.
Yeah, this is nuts. So obviously, it's not bad to get tower this early. Some people have the train of thought, like, what you would like to be doing more here is instead of taking the tower, just go proxy this wave. Because then he's going to continue to lose more creeps to the tower. You can just continue to deny more and more creeps to the tower. You're eventually going to get this anyways, so you're not in a ton of rush.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a trade-off, you know, it depends on what you think.
Yeah, my thing was like, okay, I get the tower. That opens up the map for me to go mid. And I see dragon was also spawning. So I wanted to base, get my item, and then go dragon, have the fight in dragon.
Sure. Yeah, that's beautiful intention too. I don't mind that by any means.
Mm-hmm.
So what people
But
would...
then I'm pretty sure bot lane got a kill. So then I was like, okay, let me just go back top, because if they come to me to fight top, then my team gets dragon. But then if they go get dragon, then I get tier 2 top, and that's like 600 some change gold, which is like pretty good, right?
Sure. As long as you have intention with it, I don't really mind whatever your decision is. The conversely to opening up the, like, a top, the outer tier 3s don't really open up the map. The mid tier 3 does 100% because it allows you easier access into their jungle and allows you access out of their jungle. This one doesn't really do jack shit. So what people think and what like the logic is here is once you break this tower, now the wave's cleanly gonna move down here, and Trundle can just like sit on the wave here. Makes it really easy for him to farm safely. Now, do I think this Trundle has the presence of mind to slow push waves from right here? No, I don't. But you see the logic there, right?
Yeah.
So that's just something to evaluate, keep in mind. I honestly, like, getting Jax Trinity Force this early, I don't mind you taking the tower like this. It's not a big deal. It's one way or another, it's min-maxy, and it's just, as long as you have intention with whatever you're doing, I don't care, right? It's not gonna hurt you. So let's just keep. So something I do, like, again, we don't want to be eschewing our golden XP efficiency for low percentage things. And what I want you to be doing is push top out first, then move, right? If top's ever like in this area, if the top wave's ever like here, just push it out first, then move down.
Okay.
And that'll help you like keep your CS up high.
Yeah, like around this, like I know my initial CS is not that great, but then yeah, I was just like
also since we have TP up this whole time too, right? It's like it's fine to just go top and like just be watching the map, and then looking to TP to shit that happens, right? If we see them like doing the shit, we can TP to this ward, flash onto them. We're very strong with Trinity Force, right?
Yeah, I was just pretty surprised on how Katarina lost to Karma, because I thought she had a dash out of her stun, right? So then if Karma can't stun you, then she can't do her damage to you. So like
that's not necessarily true, because like because her Q Karma, Katarina is a very weak early game champion, and then Karma is a very strong early game champion. So it's definitely not an easy matchup for Kat. I would something else I was gonna mention earlier, but I just kind of forgot about it. I would, honest to God, my friend, just recommend turning chat off. For so many reasons. The most important one is that it does literally nothing ever. Literally nothing. There's no valuable information you ever get from chat. All chat will ever do is distract you. And also, like, when you start getting used to venting in chat, that's all you do is train that ability to vent. Have you ever heard of the concept of the mental stack?
No.
Okay, so think about it this way, like you're just in general, like you have you only have so many things you can keep on your mind at once. And say it's like 100, you have 100 points or 100% of a mental stack you can allocate towards things. And say in lane we're putting 40% of our mental stack towards CSing. We're putting another 40% towards Oh, whatever. Towards trading, right? That's leaving only like another 20% towards like wave management or tracking the jungler or something, right? Eventually, so what's going to happen as we play more Jax, as we get better at CSing, as we get better at trading, those will go down so they only take 20% each.
Okay.
So now instead of 80% of your mental stack being allocated towards CSing and trading, now only 40% is allocated towards CSing and trading. And that allows you an extra 60, like it gives you more mental space to pay attention to the rest of the stuff that's going on.
Okay.
Right. That's why it's so important to only be playing one champion, to only be playing one role, because then you're consistently shrinking the mental stack allotment that is required to do the bare minimum. And eventually, say like you play 100 more Jax games top, you won't even, it'll be 5% of your mental stack is going to be going towards CSing and trading. And that'll give you so much more space to think about stuff. The point I want to tie this home to is as soon as we start allocating any mental stack towards chat, that will take over. League is such an emotional game, and it's so easy. Like, I'm not saying I'm a Buddha or anything by any means. Like, I definitely get frustrated and yell at my teammates, but chat will only enable that. Chat only makes that worse, and it's only gonna like inhibit you from doing the things you need to do. The last thing you ever want to be doing is allocating any percentage of your mental stack towards chat or flaming your teammates. Because not only is that like ruining their day and like making them play worse, it's making you play worse, right?
Okay.
It's like we've identified throughout this entire coaching session so much shit you could be doing better. It's like you have plenty to focus on. You do not need to be thinking about what Katarina is doing.
Yeah.
So I so heavily recommend just turning chat off in game.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, that works.
It's like as soon as I started doing it, it's like the game just feels better. It's more fun. It's like it doesn't need anything, right? But here we probably had a TP opportunity.
Yeah.
So something to think about. But like
my main thing was I know no one was gonna come top, so I was just like the tier 2 is pretty.
Yeah,
good.
totally.
So when they fight, I was just like, I'll just get myself ahead with the tier 2.
Yeah, for sure. That's the beauty of Jax, right?
With the wave. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little sketchy because we don't see anybody for so long. But, I mean, we kill them. Yeah, we kill them both, so like you're fine. You're fine taking this wave. You see, the only person that could come here is Trundle. Yeah. And as long as you just like have a ward to jump out or like jump over a wall or flash, like you're fine. Like ultimately, like identifying you can take the tier 2 here, that's good. What I would like you to do now is start pinging your Katarina to go top. It's like what we need to do is now get you into a lane where we can be hitting towers again. Getting value out of how strong, like nobody can match you in sides in this game right now. It would take at minimum 2 people to kill you. Nobody can match you in sides. So what we want to do is get your bot lane mid and then get your Katarina top. So you can be hitting these towers. That's really your goal, is to get bot, to get value. Like even mid here, it's fine, but it's like obviously it's way harder for you to actually get work done on mid towers than it would be on the bot lane towers, right?
Okay.
Jinx would rather be mid because that's the safest lane for her to farm in. And then also it makes it easy for Leona to move to either play anywhere on the map. So that's why you want to get your bot lane mid here, just because it opens up the map for them to get things done. Katarina is obviously not safe here, so you just want to put her somewhere where she can be safe and honestly make it so she's not doing jack shit. And then we just want to enable you in sides. So that's why we want to set this lane assignment up like this. Nice. It's not like I hate this though. Like we're just we're playing with like I like how you're playing with pressure here. I think the things like you probably get yourself into trouble a couple times.
Like, the one thing is like I like once I like my objective is I need to get the tower, and
100%.
sometimes I just if I get like really impatient, and then I don't recognize that I don't see the enemy for so long that I just like I get into like things like this, and I feel like I lose my lead so fast.
Yes.
With like things like this, right? Yeah.
So when it comes to this point in the game, when we're playing for towers, what we need to do is like look at the pressure on the map, and how we do that is draw a line through like all of your towers and your champions, right? So like this,
Mhm.
and then what do we see in this case is how much pressure you're putting on the map.
Mhm.
And if we do it
And there's
again,
no
once
pressure from the team, right?
exactly, so it's like now we think about it like this.
Yeah. Mhm. That's way too much. Oh,
Exactly, right? Like you see, like if you're the other team, what are you gonna do here?
yeah, go for Jax first. Yeah.
Every time, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's just about like once you start like doing this kind of mental thing in your head, you'll be like, oh shit, like I can't do this. One, your team's already making a play, and then two, you actually kind of have a nice TP angle here. It's like we don't have a ton of HP, but maybe if we based TP down here with flash up, it's you can make something happen down here. I kind of like that. I like that as an option, but like the main thing to look at is like your team's already making a play. Getting this wave in and getting this tier 1, that's plenty. If you make them lose this wave, you're already like that's still winning, right? You're trying to do too much right now is the main thing.
Okay.
And also if this was bot instead, it's a little bit safer, right? Just because mid, like putting this much pressure down on mid is very just low percentage.
Okay.
Look at hitting towers as a luxury, right? You got to do all of your homework first. You got to get everything else, like set yourself up so hitting the tower is like safer here. We have a pink, we have a ward here. If we had some vision down somewhere else and we can see Lee Sin coming, it's safer. Even when we see Lee Sin show up here like this, just leap strike to him right away, right? Because if you leap strike, I don't know exactly how Jax leap strike works. I think it puts you behind them. Does it? Do you know?
No, in front of them.
It does. Okay. Ideally, like, do you know how Lee Sin works?
I know, like he has a Q that's super hard to hit, right?
Yep.
And then his ult kicks you behind. Like he can kick you anywhere around. He can kick like front or behind, and he can ward hop. He has a
Yep. So the main thing to
so-
think about in this situation is so he'll kick you, and like whatever direction he's facing you, that's the direction you go.
Okay.
Right. So like you're just in threat here because he's pushing you down.
Okay.
So you just want to make sure we're not taking tower aggro. So if he does kick you, you can just jump out, or like I would just like ward hop here, and so that if he kicks you, you're jumping away, or even ward hop here. So as long as he's not kicking you under tower, there's no way you lose to a fight to him. If you're right here and you counter strike him, you can rip his shit apart real quick. But the main thing is like we just don't want to be getting kicked down. Also with his Q, it does execute damage, meaning the lower health you have, Q2 will deal more damage. Just something to know, not a big deal. But the main thing here is like you take tower aggro and he kicks you into it. That's what makes this awkward.
Yeah. I realized that because I feel like I should have E'd a bit earlier and stunned him a bit earlier.
Yeah,
and just
very true. If we're charging counter strike here and you just stun him instantly and jump over, that's good. The main thing again is if he's got the presence of mind to kick you in once you take tower aggro, it's still awkward. I think our best bet is just ward hop out, and we're fine. And it's honestly all fine. But like this is the sort of death that makes these games really awkward, right? It's a super low percentage death. Lee Sin doesn't really have to commit that much. You give over a shutdown, right? Or give a bounty, so he's getting 600 gold off this kill. It's going to make the game... These are the sorts of deaths that make the game very messy, very chaotic, that we want to avoid doing. The biggest thing that would have put us out of this position is after we take this tier 1, if we're prioritizing correct lane assignment. That makes this mid game easier for you.
Yeah.
Jack's mid and late game is all about like weighing how much value do I get out of splitting versus team fighting versus grouping, and then 2, what lane assignment do I want? Obviously, we don't really want to be top because there's no value, but there's 2. You can't really see the tier 1, but it's there. Like we're getting so much value out of being bot lane if we get both these towers, right?
Yeah.
So that's really what we want to be playing for. Well, we'll go to your next death and we'll see. I think this TP is a little antsy. I think you're probably just compensating because you're frustrated you died mid.
Yeah, and I knew like it was something where dragons was spawning, so I knew if I pushed in that wave, I can rotate 2 dragon was the logic. So yeah, I mean that was just a general thing, and I knew that if we had enough dragon control, I could probably get even the tier 1 bot was the logic there. And yeah, I realized like all four of them were there, so like it just made sense
Yeah,
the tier
I just
one.
think you can just walk out. I just think you're wasting your GP here a little bit.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't think it's
okay.
like it's not terrible, but I also just don't think it's super high value because like you're
Mhm,
not. I don't think getting this tier one's hard for you at all, anyways. When you are spawning, there's 30 seconds on dragon.
mhm.
It takes like if you have tier two boost, it takes you like 24 seconds to get down here.
Okay,
So
okay,
you're
okay.
always going to be on dragon on time. You'll still probably have time to push, and even if you don't push, it doesn't matter. It's like it's
Mhm,
your tier one's already gone. It's fine to just it doesn't matter.
mhm,
I think it's just not a super high value TP.
mhm. Okay. Mhm.
Something good to just think about here is like kind of the fact that they do have to answer you down here bot first. Like Ash and Lulu come here first. Does make the dragon easier to take for your team. Partially that's because their team's just not in position on time, but I mean that's how pressure works, right? If you pressure the bot
Mhm.
lane, force them to come there, it makes the rest of your team free to do shit.
Yeah. Mhm.
We go back bot, I like that.
Mhm.
But it's like, see now, it's like if we had this is when it's like really awkward that we had that low value TP because now we're stuck bot lane without really access to anything else that's happening.
Yeah, yeah. Mhm.
So it's like we would have got this tower anyways, you know. It's like we would have been at dragon anyways, but now we're in a
True.
situation where it's hard to react to anything happening on the rest of the map
Mhm, mhm.
because we want it. This is ideal. This is what we want to be doing. We want to be down
Mhm.
here and we want to be pressuring them.
But you want to have an advantage with it, right?
Yeah, we
With your
want to just
TP.
have the ability to move to. We don't want to be isolated down here. Also,
Mhm, mhm.
again, it's important that we're looking at like we're doing this pressure thing, right? They don't see Katarina necessarily. So it's not we're not terrible here, but if we keep pushing up, it's gonna be awkward. So all that
Yeah.
means in these situations is don't hit the tower, right? We're just gonna push the wave, wait for our team to either push up, either match pressure on this tower or like have Katarina be pushing over here.
Mhm,
Or so we're just gonna push the wave in, go get vision, then come back.
mhm.
We just play it patient. We'll see what we do here. Ultimately, this is great, right?
Mhm.
Because we see that they had to respond to your pressure, and that's giving our team the space in mid to hit the
Yeah.
tower. So all we need to do here is not die, and we're doing our job very well. And so I think again, yep, exactly. As soon as they move away, we just pressure them again. This is perfect because now their team's freaking out because they're like, shit, like we kind of had a good fight mid, we kind of want to take that, but Jax is gonna fuck up our shit, and now Timo's pushing too. Now it's just about like playing this with finesse, right? Not overdoing it,
Mhm.
but continuing to apply the pressure. And you're doing a good job with this for sure.
And I feel like, see, like some games like this, I'm like able to do it because like I get good vision in their jungle. Like the Leona, the ward that she put there,
Mm-hmm.
that was like amazing, right? Like I could see like where it's like where they're moving. But other times, because I know I'm really bad at warding because I usually use most of my wards to like ward hop away.
Mm-hmm.
And when I don't have that vision in their enemy jungle, sometimes I just overextend to a point where there's like it's too late before I realize like three people are collapsing
Yep.
already.
So
So
part of that, like you don't always need the vision for that, because part of that we can just assume from like drawing our pressure line mentally,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh.
Because we can assume like, okay, if it's like this, and I mean, if it's like this, all right, hold on, I suck at this, and I'm right here, it kind of just makes sense where they're gonna go, right? If we don't see anybody else in the map, we don't have pressure in any other lanes. There's really
Yeah,
only one genuine option for them, so you don't
yeah,
even
for
need
sure.
vision there. You can just realize I can push the wave and I need to leave.
Mm,
Also, like with your, if you're just keeping your ward up, if you see people, you can just ward hop out and just run away.
yeah.
And it's
Mm,
you're pretty annoying to kill. You're pretty slippery. You can always Q to your creeps that are coming, so you have
yeah.
options there. But the main thing is like when we're in these like split push scenarios, drawing that pressure line mentally will give you a lot of value in terms of understanding what you can actually get done.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And like like right now we saw Trundle and Lee Sin were top. We saw nobody mid, and we see 3 people bot. It's like, you know what to do here. It's like, that's not hard for you.
Yeah.
I would say like this ward doesn't really make sense, especially with what you want to be doing, right? Because this ward doesn't actually enable you to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
We would rather have a ward that's like over here,
Yeah.
like in these spots, because that will show the paths towards this tower that we want to be attacking.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say either you never really want to be warding this, because one, we just want to have a ward hop ward, but if we have a pink, that's fine. But ideally, we want to be getting vision down here.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, you're doing your job here in the mid game, which is just to continuously pressure their side lanes, force them to react to you, give your team space to get things done.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks Katarina is doing this, but it is what it is. It's like, right, Katarina's not doing what we were talking about, right? Let's like look at this. So this is our tower.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if we're in her position, we know like this just doesn't make sense. Not to mention our teams all over here, but this just doesn't make sense.
Mm. I think it's like, I hate their team comp. It's like Ashe, the slow. I feel like if she just uses that like sort of that spread of arrows,
Her W, yeah,
and then you just can't stick onto her after that. It's just
does make it hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I just got a little too greedy here.
Also, what if we just E sooner too? Like, if you're really
Yeah,
gonna take
true.
this, if we just get the stun down,
Mhm.
you have decent. Like, if you can actually just stun her here, you can probably kill her if you just are following the flash. It's always hard because Karma is just annoying.
Mhm.
And we get there. We get there. Nice,
Yeah, then
perfect.
he like oversteps a bit too much. Then I was like, okay, yeah, this is
This flash is pretty bad.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Because if you're really, really scared, you have Q in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And you can just Q to a creep. So this flash doesn't really make sense.
Yeah, she also follows
She fucking
flash.
flashes forward. Yeah, but you just punish her well. Nice. We take it.
Yeah, I don't know why I still
So
stayed on the map.
yeah,
I had TP,
exactly.
but then
You just base TP instantly.
Mm-hmm.
And you have options even. Like, if you don't even want to TP to the fight, you could TP mid and start pushing. But like, yeah, you just base TP always. You just want to get back out.
Yeah, I stayed for way too long. I remember like even thinking in the game, I was like, this is.
And we see like how there's no chance in hell we're actually going to touch this tower, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's even worse than that.
I think I died for it because like it was something very stupid. I remember in game.
We're at 40% HP and we have no flash and we're at the entire pressure point there. I mean, we don't actually do anything dumb, but it's dumb to really be looking there even.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. We catch her here.
I don't think we. Yeah, it was something like.
Like, she's just.
I thought she should have died a lot sooner than.
That. I think does she? No. It just she old shields there. Her shields are just strong. Has a bunch of CDR, but you get her. It's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I wanted to save my ult because I didn't feel like.
Yeah, if you don't need it, you'd need it, right?
Yeah.
But again, let's just take a look at this.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's like we don't really. This is a scenario where it's like we're fine to pressure, but as soon as we see people, you just have to play with a lot of respect here.
Mm-hmm.
So like jumping forward here is the opposite of that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like it's fine to hit the wave. Like if you're feeling confident, and you're like I like bring them up, like have the people come to me. That's fine, right? And even a higher level play here is like with Karma dead and their jungler showing on the bottom lane here, you should start spam pinging Baron.
Mm-hmm.
So if your team just goes over here, even if you die, even if they all come to you and you die and your team gets Baron, that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
This is the best pressure play you can cash in on, is pulling their jungler bot, wasting their time so your team can get Baron. Post 20 minutes, that's something you should be thinking about.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
But again, just like this queue isn't in line with actually what the map's telling us right now, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, bro's fucking getting excited.
Yeah, I just knew I was dead here, so I was just like, okay, let me just get as much damage out as possible.
For sure.
And eventually, I was just like, I'll just get the cannon minion. Because the Ash slow was just, I just.
The sun's
hated
nice.
so
Yeah,
much.
it was a nice arrow, and then like he does make a play, but you queue onto him. If you just instantly queue here, you're pretty safe. Like,
Yeah,
if you
I
instantly
didn't
queue
expect
here,
that.
and then your next queue is on one of these creeps, you're fine. But also, I imagine as soon as we see the Lee Sin here,
Oh, we just back off.
oh, it's not even that. We start pinging,
Uh-huh.
and then their whole team comes down here to fight you.
Yeah,
Who gives
true.
a fuck if you die if your team just got Baron, right?
Mhm.
They're not always going to listen to you, but they will eventually. And that's the thing, is like, one, if we're not queuing forward, and then two, as soon as we see him, we have the presence of mind to be like, Baron, 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 Baron. That would have made this whole thing fucking worthwhile. And then even then, like, these plays are like decent, but we should just be queuing to the creep right away. Queue to these creeps.
Mhm.
And then just run away. Make it as hard as, like, waste as much as time as possible here. Gives your team so much time to get stuff done elsewhere.
Yeah, true. Mhm.
But ultimately, it's like the two main things that get you in trouble here is like, we're not respecting the pressure on the map.
Mhm.
And then, yeah, that's really what it is. We're just not respecting the pressure on the map here, right?
Mhm.
And that gets you in trouble. And that's what's going to be a consistent issue in your mid games on Jax, is because you are so strong that you feel like you want to be doing this stuff, and you feel like you want to be going crazy over here
all the time. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's fine. You should feel that way, and that's how you do want to be, but like, you can't 3v1, or 3v1s get kind of hard and stuff like that. It's like you just still want to play it with enough respect where you're not completely just giving it to them for free.
I feel like like the thing that I've kind of taken away is my early game needs to be more aggressive, and my mid game needs to be a little bit more passive than what it is, right?
Yeah, I'd say like that's a decent idea. I'd say it's like, it's mostly like you're not utilizing all of your strength. It's not necessarily just be aggressive or be passive, but it's like, do what's right, do what's correct, right? And in a lot of these early game situations, you're not playing with like correct potency. You're not utilizing the full amount of your strength, and we're not playing with enough correct intention on the wave to get things done. Like, you have a lot of the baseline stuff there, and the more you play, the better you're going to get with it. But it's like, we're not respecting our tempo when it's there. We're not like utilizing that correctly. There's a bunch of times where we have Counter-Strike up, and the correct thing to do is just to punish them on the trade, and we're not doing it. So I would hesitate to say like aggressive or passive, but think more in lines of like, what is just correct in this moment?
Okay.
And like, stuff like this is incorrect. It's not necessarily that you need to be more passive here. It's just that you need to be more respectful and not like play into the 1v3. Or like, when you see like the pressure on the map here, even ignoring that we see Ash here, just like, look at our teammates like this. It's like, how the fuck should I be doing any plays here? Right?
Yeah.
It's your play here is to draw them to you and waste their time. And so that's what it is. It's like, so try not to think of it in terms of passive or aggressive, because that can get you in like these weird loops. But think of it like, what's the correct thing to do here? How is this incorrect in my plays? And stuff like that. Might as well just finish this game out. But so again, it's just
also,
go ahead.
Yeah. No, I just feel like I can't end games early. I just don't know how to be like, okay, like in YouTube videos and stuff like that, right? I just feel like they end games so quick, and they just like take over the game. But then when I try to do it, I feel like I just always in, and like, it just doesn't, it doesn't work out the same way. So it's so confusing to me. Yeah.
For sure. No, I think part of that is like, they're just towing the line better, and they understand where they need to apply their strengths better, right?
Yeah.
So for instance, that's like that death here on that tier 1. Better players, that's never happening. And that wastes so much time for you. And then 2, it's even like that lane assignment where we run mid into Karma when that tier 1's up here. It's like better players aren't doing that either. They're going bot to get control of this stuff way sooner. So it's stuff like that.
It's like whatever I'm doing, they're just doing it much sooner, so that
they're doing it with less hesitation, with more intention, and they're executing on it much at a higher level. You have the groundwork here to get much better. Like, I'm not just saying, like, there's a lot of really good stuff here and a lot of very good intention with what you're doing and how you're talking about stuff. It's just execution, and it's a little bit more like pay attention to the map, read the pressure a little bit better, set up better lane assignments for yourself. You want to be in side lanes. You want to be in top or bot. You don't want to be the person pushing mid. You want to let your Jinx be doing that. You want to be letting mages do that. And it's like you're doing the correct thing down here in bot lane. It's just like we just didn't respect it quite enough, right? And the same thing, like even like you punish them quite heavily on mid. That was nice, but then we're just not respecting it quite enough. We're not looking at like how the pressure actually looks and how that would look to the other team on what they want to do.
Yeah, I get it now.
So you're doing the right stuff, and it's like if, say for instance, like higher level players, when they see that jungler down there and they're calling for that Baron, that's going to be what's ending the game. Because if you're pushing sides with Baron, how the fuck are they going to match you, right?
Yeah, true.
So it's Baron and Soul are like major win conditions. So playing towards that stuff helps you close out games quicker. But the main thing is like these low percentage deaths that you had right here that are so easy for the other team to actually capitalize on, and it doesn't really require that much from them. It's like that's the sort of stuff that makes your games prolonged and harder to win. Jax isn't the easiest character to win games with, but the most consistent way to do it is to play this pressure game in side lanes. Because like there's very few champions who can 1v1 you, especially once you get items, and you destroy towers. You do so much work on towers.
Yeah.
And so here it's like, again, this will probably be something else too, is like this is just a terrible TP.
Yeah, I should have saved it for like Baron or something.
Exactly, right? It does that. You can walk here. Like it's fine. You can walk here. There's no rush to getting here. Like this TP does literally nothing. It's what the fuck? I don't know what just happened. But yeah, that TP accomplishes it literally accomplishes nothing. You might as well have Ignite at this point because you literally did nothing with TP this whole game.
Yeah.
But so what we want to do, right, is like if we're gonna walk down here, we're gonna pressure this, and then somebody has to come and answer. Then if they force a fight somewhere else and you can TP to it, you're just gonna create a man advantage.
Yeah, true.
Like that's another way to get value out of your pressure is to create man advantage in sides, force them to catch waves, and then move to a fight. Like we see Ashe here. Imagine, like, let's see what you do, but like we start running up, like we have the man advantage on Ashe. If you walk up here and force this fight, then they're going to be outnumbered. Also, we haven't seen Lulu in a while. That's the only thing that's making me nervous about this, but you can one-shot Ashe under tower. You do so much damage. And it's very hard for her to like actually kill you.
The thing with me with Ashe is like if she has her ult up and her like W up, I just feel like she can't die because she just stuns you and just runs away. And
you have to be clean with your stun. You have to be good on your timing there, but you can definitely do it. Like, right, if this wave is crashing on her tower and you just walk at her with your E up, she will probably ult you right away because she's gonna panic or something, right? And then you can still just Q onto her. It's not super hard. I'd say it's a limit test thing for sure, and you have to get comfortable with it. But you can definitely, if you kill her under tower and then you get free push here, that's another way like better Jaxes are going to be ending games. Is they're gonna kill the one person here that's, if they're strong enough, that's defending this tower, because that then opens up your ability to push this.
Yeah, that was a very bad.
Do you see how your team gets this Baron call? Like why it's actually fundamentally good? It's because you see Lee Sin on the bot side here.
Yeah.
You see 3 people here. This is just let's see what happens. Oh no. I think you just walk out. It's just unfortunate kind of that we're here
Yeah, I just felt like I was good. I should have never taken that blast cone
now.
into like probably to the dragon pit is what I should have taken.
Exactly,
So
because once it's just like again where your team is, where you are, you
mm,
see all of them right here.
yeah, but I felt like the play was kind of okay because like everybody's just on me and we get like Baron for free,
You get banned
and
for free
even if I
regardless,
don't,
right? This is just a
yeah,
donation. This is literally just a donation, something else. You just feel bad for the enemy team that they're getting screwed over and you just want to donate to them. You're just being a nice guy. That's really all it is. So you're getting Lee Sin's so out of position. Their whole team is so out of position. Like you're getting Baron one way or another.
yeah.
What you really, really should be doing here is pushing mid,
Okay.
right? It's like one of these two. Or like getting this, getting that. It's like it's not interacting with their team here. There's no reason to. This is another one of those like this death, like all. It's you're not dying a lot, but all three of these deaths are so easy for the enemy team to get. You're not making them work for it at all. They're all very low value deaths. They're very bad deaths. Like you can die and get a ton of value out of it, right? Like say when we died down here earlier, your team got Baron. That's a very high value death.
Okay.
But like this is a super low value death because it literally does nothing and it didn't need to happen. And like these are the sorts of deaths that just make it so much harder for you to like close out games cleanly. They're just blunders, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean you have to kind of match Trundle. It's a little awkward. Again, it's like we're being punished again here for wasting our TP. Because ideally we want to be pushing this lane in because whenever there's an objective and you're a strong side laner, you want to be cross map to the objective. Right? Because then that makes them decide between do we deal with the Jax or do we fight the objective? And the best way to enable that is if we still have TP up, right? Because then we can shamelessly push sides out and then TP if we need to.
Yeah.
But since we don't have TP, we're kind of just locked into pushing sides here. I mean, yeah, I like this a lot. This is good. You reckon like you pulled two people top and then you just move to your team. Like this is perfect. Yep. So the pushing mid out's fine here. It's annoying Katarina is following you too, but the main thing that you want to be doing in this situation is just utilizing. Now that you have supers in these two waves, right? You can look at the supers as side laners, as people, because you're going to have pressure in these lanes.
Okay.
So now all you want to do is play patient, wait for them to answer these waves, and you can just get this tier 3 for free. And it's just a patient game. It's fine to sometimes pressure these lanes to force them to come over to then again open up that bot lane for your team. But ideally, just like sit on Jinx and help them take this, which we do and we get there. But now the game's pretty free, right? It's like it's very hard to lose from this position. It's just about like cleanly get objectives, get Baron if you really need to, and then eventually you push them in. But man, again, there's really a lot of great stuff here. Like there's a lot of like great intention. You're thinking about the waves. You're thinking about what other people are doing. You're thinking about how to enable like your strengths. I think there's obviously some min-maxing you need to do. There's obviously a lot of improvement for you to like get done. I think a lot of it though is just going to be stuff that comes with reps and comes with time. And like, I think you definitely like have a great foundation to work on. And I think you just keep playing Jax top, and you'll definitely climb. I'm very confident in that. You have any questions or anything?
No. That the pressure line really like I understand now where I was always getting caught out because like it's like I'm putting too much pressure on the map when the team is not able to follow up on it. So I need to slow down a bit more than expecting my team to, start putting pressure because like it's not like we're on comms anyway, right?
Exactly.
I get it now. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to wait for them to be in position to fully utilize that, right? You can like when you're a massive pressure point, you can still draw people to you, but it's just about respecting them showing up. You shouldn't be shocked when they show up, and you should be expecting them to show up and be prepared to leave right away.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
when you continuously do that, eventually, no matter what, your team will start applying pressure because they'll be hitting waves that nobody's answering. Eventually, they'll have to go and do that. Gives you space to move back up.
Yeah, because like I remember like not ranked games, like unrated games, it would be so easy to get fed that like maybe in like minute like 15 or 16 you could 1v3 1v4, and
Mhm.
I was so in that mindset with Jax of just like 1v3 1v4. I just thought that's just how Jax works, and in ranked it's just a completely different scenario where like
Yeah, they're not
uh,
going to let you get away with that as easily. You're not getting as fed as quickly. It's like you're definitely still like in like the game we just watched. If it was just Lee Sin and the Trundle, you can probably 1v2 them, right? But it's when the Lulu and the Ash shows up and you're getting stunned and polymorphed and slowed, where it's like you're not nobody is really going to win that 1v3. But that doesn't mean you can't take advantage of that situation in different ways.
right,
So,
yeah.
hey man, well, definitely if you have any more questions or if you want to get some more VODs looked at eventually, feel free to hit me up with anything. Always happy to answer any questions or help you out with anything you need.
Yeah, sure. Like I'll definitely like start like implementing whatever we did today, like into the games, like actively. Like I'll put them on a sticky note and like put them on like one of my second monitor so I can
Awesome.
like keep looking at them. So then yeah, I'll definitely like think about it a bit more and I'll let you know how it goes and
For
see
sure.
like where I'm like finding problems in those and stuff.
Please do, man.
Yeah.
Please do. Feel free. I'm completely open. Feel free to hit me up with anything,
Yeah.
anytime.
Okay, yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, man. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day.
You too. Bye bye.
Peace.